Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Psychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're first time here, do hit that subscribe button and the like one too. And yes, what an awesome show and guest we have today. I want to give a quick shout out before we jump in with our awesome guest. We had a problem today with our live with Laura Nina. Well, I don't know what was the problem. We couldn't get through. Maybe there was something that didn't wanted that show to happen. So we had to reschedule it. I know that there were many people waiting on Facebook for that live, but yeah, we were upset because of that because we wanted to do that show and we couldn't. So we'll be trying to do that as soon as possible when we can, right? So and the other thing, I want to give quick shout out to Flat Earth Files, George Hobbs. I was on his podcast yesterday. I had an amazing chat we had today, and he will be releasing it on Thursday. And the other shout out I want to give is to Daniel Falkenbach, that sub genius, Flat Earth sub genius. He's going to be also with us next week. And another shout out I want to give is to Mellow Dome, that where I'll be there with him on next Tuesday discussing uh, frequency, energy, and vibrations. Right. So, and the guest of today, what would I say about the guest of today? Right. It was, for me, it was like a lucky charm. Right. So, but anyway, before I introduce him, I want to say quick hello to my co host all the way from New York. The space is fake, my brother. That t shirt is awesome. Where did you get that?
Hey, thanks, bro. I got this when I went to Tennessee and met Kevin Bobbick, Flatten the Curve star. So this is right from him. If you guys want to check out any really cool flat Earth clothes, hats, kind of apparel, go to densityclothing.com. I think you can find Kevin on Facebook and he's on the internet. He's got this shirt is really nice, really comfortable. High quality. I love this shirt. It's really nice, right to the point. I wear this shirt proud. I love going into stores with this
Oh,
one.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. You walk around like this. No, really. Hey, Vika, you know what I wanted to say? Yeah, I was a little
Oh, yeah.
disappointed.
Kevin's, yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
I wanted to say I was a little disappointed to hear that the show got canceled today. All of a sudden, like nanobots hit the two of you guys, and it just didn't work. But
Ah.
it gives you a little more time to prepare some more stuff for everybody, bro. That's going to be such a great conversation. I can't wait to hear it. Looking forward, bro. And congratulations, too, also, bro, with, all the stuff you done that's on the way out. It's coming up. It's really fun. It's exciting to watch, bro. And, as always, great to be here. So, you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, brother. And that's the reason our special guest today is here because it's the first one podcast video podcast I ever did is with my brother Rob from Disorganized Productions. Welcome, Rob, brother. It's great to have you here on our show, Psychosis. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Life accelerated 2.5 months ago when I started podcasting, and yeah, the things that you do without any expectations, they somehow they can really rocket launch very fast until they hit one point where they come down, right? But yeah, it's tremendous. I
Yeah.
have like 33 episodes already on Disorganized Productions, and
Wow.
I will have yeah, tonight I have this podcast, and I will have like three guests coming up for the next week. So podcasting is my life.
Oh, yeah, brother, you are flying because the last time I heard you, it was number 33, and I was number 25, and that wasn't even very long ago. And you are flying, my brother. So that is great. That's amazing. Awesome people are joining you for amazing discussion, and we two also had an amazing discussion. We would have gone on forever. That's why my brother is here to continue that amazing chat we had. So yeah, he had amazing guests on his podcast with amazing discussions. There was Mark Sargent, right? There was also David Wise, and many other people were there too, right? So, brother, tell us about yourself. How did you start uh, with the flat Earth? Like, how you got into flat Earth? What got you into flat Earth?
Yeah, good question. The thing is, I always was skeptical about things that they tried to tell me in school, and some things I heard that I thought that isn't right, and sometimes there are things blocked from the truth. So it's something like they try to tell you in the beginning of life, just like, no, it's just like it is. Don't question it. It's just like it is. And I couldn't wrap my head around with that. So my journey started when I was in a sales job. I did sales for mostly German-speaking countries. With a nice suit on, with a nice car, and to talk all day. That was and drinking coffee. That was basically my job, and selling products. And but when I came home, I digged into YouTube, and the funny thing and the good thing about YouTube at these days were that you could just put something in it, and you had a lot of things coming up. If it doesn't matter what kind of topic you could really dive into, and you could, yeah, seek for yourself what kind of truth or what kind of topics that you want to search about. So that's what I basically did when I was at home. I always was interested in Discovery Channel, ancient history, and stuff like that. I really liked that, and I think it was like 2015, something there that I touched based on more stuff, and then all of a sudden I saw some things going on about the old Earth maps and stuff like that, and just like, wait a minute, this is interesting. And well, I get all the information that I basically got from the internet, and just make up my mind, just like, I don't think that the things they say are true. That was my first, like, there's something going on here. And then in 2016, it was, um, one day changed my completely life. I was always partying hard, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, drinking a lot, and one day that lifestyle took a toll on me, and I ended up with in a hospital with the inflamed and perforated intestines, and that's not good.
Holy,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
so
too much, right?
that was too much. Yeah, so all of a sudden I had to. I was very unaware if I'm gonna live tomorrow. First of all, second of all, I had bunch of time to dig into more topics that I couldn't when I was on the road or doing my job, because I was like working 60 hours a week and then party hard all the time. And then I started to get a little bit more serious about myself and about my life, because I knew that, yeah, well, maybe tomorrow I don't wake up. So my journey started basically in 2016 by getting more knowledge and wisdom about the things that are really interesting for me at that time. So, like you said, what kind of shape do we live in, if that's relevant? But also with other stuff, I like bushcrafting and a little bit outdoor and stuff like that, prepping, dig into that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is, when you dig into some rabbit holes, you might find a rabbit, and I found several rabbits. So, with that said, I changed my mind. I had to. I had to change my lifestyle, my life, basically. The man who I was almost like 100 kilograms fat from drinking and drugging and stuff like that. And I had to change my life. I started to write things down that I never did. Never did some writing. Only, you know, go for the money and go for the fun. And yeah, I had the time, and I digged into some really deep rabbit holes that came. Well, another rabbit hole exposes, right? So you go once in as Alice, and you probably never come out. I'm still in it, digging into more in more
So
stuff. But
so sure. So the question would be also how much time, like you started the podcast because of the flat earth, or you are already doing podcast and you became a flat earther?
a good question. Good question. I did some podcasts. Well, some several Dutch and one German. Um, Basically because I like to talk to people that motivate me and inspire me. And I was doing the podcast not on the level I do now, because I thought maybe I'm going to bring some news out about people that want to learn from others, to be an entrepreneur, to be a public speaker, And when you go into a podcast, you can really relate to people and getting in contact and well, as I would say, getting shit done and learn from each other and basically have a good time. But when I started with that, it didn't. Uh, it wasn't on the way just like, oh, this is going to be a flat Earth podcast. Just like what you said, shout out to George Hobbs. That's one of the main reasons I started to do my podcast,
Oh yeah.
because he has, of course, the narrative Flat Earth Files. I mean, come on, with the title in it, you can, yeah, you can discuss a lot of other things. But when I started out to doing the things that I do now on Disorganized Productions, for me, it's very important to connect to people and listen to the stories that they have. So the funny thing is, a lot of people are flat earthers that I'm connected with, and a lot of people are in the biblical realm, just like in the religion realm. But for me, it's very important not to talk that much with my guest about that kinds of stuff, because you're going to get inside of a box. You know, religion or politics, you can agree or disagree, but that's it. And if you agree with each other on a topic, you have, yeah, you can talk all over about it. But if you have some things going like, okay, I disagree with that, then the conversation is going to be unbalanced. And what I mean with that is, if you do the things that I do, disorganized, not fitting in a narrative, just having basically a great talk with a fellow human, as I would like to call my well, everybody, fellow humans. Um, Magic happens because you're going to have some insights, you're going to share some knowledge. And yes, there is some knowledge about flat earth, just like as you mentioned, Mark Sargent, David Weiss, but also the fittest flat earther, Tyler Hansen. You were on my podcast. I had Billy Bond, and we're all connected in
Cody.
several ways. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So the conversation that you bring to the table with those podcasts are amazing, right? Also, like for example, the last guest I think you had, I didn't finish the podcast, but about the permaculture, so the people get real information, right?
yeah,
From the people who are dedicated time. It's not just just making things up, right? So that's good because you get to learn important things, so I have to complete that podcast too about that permaculture. So yeah, that's amazing stuff that you are doing. So what was
Thank
for you the proof that this is it, there's nothing more to prove that the earth is flat? What was it for you? I know it's a very, could be many different things, but what really resonates with you most?
you. For me, it was two things. First of all, water always finds its level, and it never ever sticks to a ball. Take a tennis ball, dip it into water. You can't. Whatever you're gonna do, it's not gonna stick perfectly on a ball. That was for me one of the things. Just like, and I put it on the internet in a scientific a website. How can you, when you got the phrase water level, why and how does it bend if you live on a globe? And they debunked it with or tried to debunk it with no, what's the word, with math, basically with math and stuff like that. And I figure out just like that, that's not real, it couldn't be real. And all of a sudden, when I start to ask more questions, they shut down the topic. So I knew, oh, I have to be more on that side, because they're, when they say, you can look everywhere except this door, you want to look into that door, right? First of all, that was one of the things. And because I loved history, a lot of maps that they were pointed out from the past, they were all based on flat Earth. And yeah, why should we think that people that made tremendous buildings like the pyramids and megalithic infrastructures and stuff like that, and where we are still looking just like, how did they do it? If you go to Angkor Wat, if you go to the to Peru, to Machu Picchu, all that stuff is just
The
like,
Mayan
wow,
temple, the Chichen Itza.
exactly. All that stuff, just how could they say that it's been a flat Earth with the things that they invented and how they did it, which we still can explain today for a lot, and then say, oh no, well, they did that, that's great, and they put out a map, but that's not true. That didn't resonate with me at all. So I thought that was BS, a lot of BS. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I was saying in, I think in the last podcast with George, I was saying that all these constructions are all aligned with the north, right? So in a way, it's proving flat Earth. If you really imagine on the flat plane, all around the North Pole, all the flat plain, all the continents, all the important cities, ancient cities, and all the important structures, all are aligning to the north, to the truth. What does this say? It proves Earth is geostationary and flat Earth.
Exactly. And the funny thing is also that, just like you said, tell me one or two things that for you is some kind of, okay, that's going to be your truth for the flat Earth. But if you go into the community and you're going to start to dig deeper, there are so many things like the North Star. Just like you said, everything is pointed north. That makes sense. If I go outside, I can make a picture today. That same picture will be, or the picture will be exactly the same next year, and it was exactly the same a year before. So it doesn't make sense if we're spinning on a ball and to chaos and universe and stuff like that. And basically everything is duality, right? So you have the moon and you have the stars, you have black and you have white, darkness and light. There's always duality. And if you take a look at that in nature, which connects me well, to the divine, call it God. I mean, everybody has his own perception of God. One of my questions also on a podcast, but for me, that's the divine consciousness that there is, um, and it makes more sense because when you take a look when you take a walk in the forest, I have a hammock. I'm going to point that on some trees and just just like relaxing and sitting out there without spinning like 1,000 miles an hour because otherwise I wouldn't hang just like with the birds singing and with the trees very very surrounded because 1,000 miles an hour is very fast. I mean, I like motorcycles. I have a motorcycle myself. Um, if I go 100 miles, it's like 160 kilometers. That's quite fast too. I can double it up probably, but that, that's bullet speed almost. So 1,000 miles an hour, no way, no way. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, and when we are in nature, brother, and when we are in nature, and there is time, there is not even one leaf is moving. It's not a
exactly.
blade of grass is moving. That's the silence of nature, and like silent and stillness of nature, right? It's so still, and you can feel it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And
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 these people want us to believe that everything is moving. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
the
yeah,
lakes would pick up the motion, you know.
yeah, and
And
not only that, if you um, basically if you go outside just like now, spring is starting. For me, it's like the new year is going to start like March now,
oh yeah,
because why should you celebrate something that's very nice in the middle of the winter in December, which means decade is 10,
10.
so
Yeah,
it's a 10th month, and you
yeah.
go back like September is 9, October is like 8, Nuevo. I don't
Yeah.
think I pronounced it okay, but Oct is 8. Um, yeah, so if you see all these things, it's like a veil that's lifting up, and just like, wait a minute, it's not like when I'm outside and I see the sun that we're spinning through it. It's just like the sun goes over and over again, just like it does every day with a single path. And yes, it wobbles a little bit, but that has
Like
to do with it.
clockwork.
Yeah. It's like a clock.
Mhm.
Exactly, exactly.
You know, to 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 uh to go back to the buildings and the alignments. So the buildings around the world from thousands of years ago line up to so many things: solstices, equinoxes, North Star. They knew it was a stationary plane. They knew really well what it was.
And I don't know. One of the oldest navigators of the seas, they did that with the stars. So if you
Right.
are flying through space, you probably would end up on the other side of the world because your navigation never ever will do the same thing because everything is
Right.
spinning, right? So they
Exactly.
have to navigate on a certain point because navigation is very, even if you have a compass, you have to navigate very to the degree. Otherwise, you will end up like a few miles away, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Adds
so
up after a while.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and yeah, and if you notice that we're on a geocentric plane and everything around us goes by, and I have this uh, Chinese telephone, the Huawei P30 Pro, which makes beautiful pictures, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to purchase this telephone. I can make a screenshot from the stars, so I can put up the aperture, I think it is. So it will take a screenshot like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then you can see that everything is spinning around us except the North Pole.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why you can
The star
navigate,
trail.
because you have a fixed point on the horizon. Otherwise, it would be
Exactly,
okay.
and
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, adding to what you're saying, that the constellation is and all the luminaries that is taken into account when doing the navigation is because they all are supposed to be calculated at the same distance, right? And that's not possible in the heliocentric model. So, and the bearings of the planets and the sun, the moon, and the other constellations is is how they have navigated all their life. And also, as you say, with connecting with the buildings and everything aligns with the equinoxes and solstice, but all these buildings also align to the north, right? So they all are in a in cardinal points, very geometric, right? Very perfection, same like as Gene have that map on the left, right? Imagine all these continents having structures and cities all facing to the north right there, right? It's a perfect calendar, it's a perfect timepiece, right? A perfect watch right there.
And what's funny, guys, is the calendar is represented on a turtle's back, right?
Mhm.
And it gives us 13 months, 28 days, and once a year there's an extra day. And people don't want to understand that, but they're willing to understand that every 4 years you get an extra day because of leap year, and they can't add up a regular year with their with their fancy math. Doesn't work, so they got to jumble stuff around, and that's why they offer the time zones
Mhm.
are all crooked and don't really match well, and the daylight savings time bounces an hour back and forth every 6 months.
Oh, I hate that.
Wow, it's so annoying.
It is
It's
because
very
they got
disruptive.
otherwise they can't put it up because the moon cycles is always 28 days. The
Perfect.
women, the periods of the women is always 28 days.
Right.
So when that's a divine number in nature, why would you, well, screw around with it to be, yeah, why would you screw around with it? And if you see the Aztecs, the Indians, and that's probably wrongly pronounced, but the guys from Peru and stuff like that, all the old
Mm.
scriptures show 13 with the calendar. And just like I said before, in December is decade is 10.
Mm.
So why would you celebrate that in a 10 months? So in middle of the winter when it's cold, New Year. And when I'm going outside right now, I see that everything is blossoming up, is blooming now. Nature is coming to life, and for me, the 21st of March until the 28th of March is celebrating time. It's celebrating the new year because we're going to have Easter. And, you see the birds that make little new birds.
Turn of the sun.
Nature is blossoming and stuff like that. That feels like, wow, there's a new year coming. Except we go outside and have a drink and champagne and all that stuff. It's in the middle of the winter. It's cold. There's no greenery. There's nothing going on. It's dead. Dead planet. Everybody go back to your shelter, just like an ice bear, and wait until everything is gone. And go out.
Oh yeah, and the best part is, all the cities or countries that is around the equator, they don't get this so much extreme change of weather, So the life of people in that kind of zone is very linear. There is no winter and summer coming. You don't have to, pile up of wood for the winter or the food. You know, they're living day to day life. For them, every day is the same. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? There is no
Yeah.
time changes. Some places are so like it's just every day of the year is the same day, same hour. More or less, little bit of changes during December or few months, but generally
Yeah,
the
like all
climate
year
is
it's
this.
like it's not like 20-degree swing tops, right? It's
Yeah,
really
top
not
always.
that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. At 12 noon it's hot, 12 noon it's hot, till 4 it's, so it's like that every day, right? So we could see that it's so different in the northern and the southern hemisphere and at the equator. And how can all this affect so much if the sun is supposed to be 90 degrees miles away. It's not happening. It's very local. The movement
Exactly.
between the tropic is creating that. How local it is. How much more proof the people need that the sun is so local, right?
Yeah, and
And look,
if you pointed out, if you and David Wise did a great job with the flat Earth app. You can see how it's spinning around and how it is. And the funny thing is, if you look to the Gleason map that Gene has on his left side, if you take out the flat Earth app, you can see how the sun goes. But you can see also that there is a very there's hot. So what you can see on the Gleason map, better than on a globe, is the equator that is going to be more dry land and stuff like that, like Saharas and the deserts. And the funny thing is, if you look at a globe, they point out the equator, but you have to manipulate it. So, and the funny thing is, if you just take one point, this is the equator, and you turn it around, there are a lot of spaces that are green and stuff like that, and it doesn't make sense because when the sun is always at hottest point on the equator, there should be always be a desert, right? There shouldn't be no greens. That's first of all. Second of all, Gene pointed out very well. If you look at the time zones, I think there are some crazy time zones in the world that we live in. Just like
yeah,
uh, the next door neighbor is like 12 hours ahead, but they have the same thing going on. The same day they wake up, but in 12 hours
really.
ahead. It's like
That's because you're so far north, and they can't really get all that time zone in that tiny part around there on a ball.
exactly, exactly. So
Ah,
they manipulated
that's cool.
they manipulated so much, and the funny thing is, if you look at the big three-letter organizations that are in this world, they all have a flat Earth map. And why would they do that? It's so easy to draw a globe. And a funny thing is also, I was talking with some friends about it, about this subject, and they call me crazy, but that's okay. And he said, "But Rob, look at the sun, look at the moon, they're round." And I just took out a plate, just like a disc. I said, "What is this?" "Well, that's round." "Yes, but it's not a ball. It's a plate. It's a round plate." But it's like, and Alex Pauls pointed out from the Firmamental podcast, shout out to these guys. And it was very, very cool what he said. He said it's like if you're sitting in a room with only white people, right? So you see, everywhere you look are only white people. You could say there's no other people like Chinese or Africans or whatever, but that doesn't mean that they aren't there, but they're not in the room. That's something completely different. So what I'm trying to say is, even if we look up and we see everything that's going to be round, doesn't mean it is a globe. And if you look at the things that Mormon Rishi does with his telescope, pointing out Venus and all the stars and stuff like that, and even with my telephone that could zoom in 50 times digital, you can see like a star is just like a fixed point. It's an energy it's blinking, and even on a starry night, you can really, if you look at one star or two stars, you can see that it's not like one white light. It's like crazy. It's like every single color is popping up, and they're not. Yeah, it's crazy. We can't grab it, right? Because we can't go there. But why should we go there? Why don't we take it just for granted that it's there and enjoy it? And yeah, as you said, Vika, as you pointed out, and also Eugene, there are so many structures that lined up perfectly with equinoxes and stuff like that. If you're going to go to the oldest calendar that's been found, the Adams calendar in Africa, if you go to Stonehenge, if you go to Machu Picchu, if you go to the pyramids, all these things line exactly at the same time perfectly up. You can do that if you're spinning around in chaos in the never-ending, expiring universe or whatever they try to tell you.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
and
the
see,
reason they want to demonize. Yeah, go ahead, Gene, brother.
no, the stars shouldn't line up twice in 2 nights in a row. If everything was moving, really, you'd see
Yeah.
some sort of shift, a little bit over and over, just like the star trails. You can see that in one night. You know, one night, not even one full night. A couple hours will show you what's going on because they're all over. So it does make that sort of circular look, even though it's just arcs, just
Exactly.
portions. You don't need the full circle. But
And what's really bothering me is I live in the Netherlands. It's very dense here with people, like
mm,
18 million people on a very little land,
yeah,
like 200 by 250 miles, or probably a little
uh,
bit smaller. But there's so much light pollution right here. I have to go to
yeah.
the to up in the north of the Netherlands, which could well probably is the North Sea, and then you have like Sweden and Denmark and stuff like that. There is a very good way to see the Milky Way. We went there last year and we had a tremendous time. We drove like 2 or 3 hours to get there, but when you look up, just like holy cow! When I
Must be
never
nice up
saw that.
there.
That's you know that picture that like 100 years ago when we didn't have electricity and stuff like that going on and the light pollution, that our ancestors walked outside to take a break or take a pee, go for a walk, and they looked up and they saw that above their head, just like, oh wow, the- wow, you're going to ask some questions about what is that.
You know, Rob, the further back you go, the more they knew about what that all that was. They washed that
Exactly.
little by little. They just, now they got, instead of us paying attention to the stars that we're supposed to look at, we're paying attention to stars on TV that are telling us not to pay attention to the stars. They got it all worked out, man.
Yep.
Long
Deceive
time
and
coming.
divide and conquer and deceiving.
I know.
And yeah, it's great that you point out with the stars that we look at. These are the false idols that we are looking upon,
Yep.
and be all sold out. And for what
Yeah.
reason? Because we thought that we had people building the pyramids and stuff like that, structures with horse and buggy, and how? And I think a lot of things are going down in history with knowledge about generation to generation, because there's always a war that's been fought, and they burned books, they killed people that were intellects, people that were, in every war you can see that if you have a bright mind or a free thinker, you're going to be killed. Probably your public enemy number one. Nice to meet you guys. Here we are.
Well, you see,
Oh
what
yeah.
happens to everybody that makes water-powered engines. They're just
Yeah.
kind of they don't want that.
No, and if you look at the first batteries and the first lights that have been formed and been looked up in the hieroglyphs about the ancient. So you basically you're making a pyramid, right? Which is mind-boggling how they did it, and the materials that they use. And some chambers they have like tons of stones that can't pass through the hallways that they made. So how did they do it? But that's another question. It's pitch dark there. Nowadays you can have a battery, you can have a LED light, you can you can have several sources of light. But at that days they tell us that they don't have stuff like that.
Mm.
So how would you find your way back if you're carving your hieroglyphs right? With a like a fackel, with fire. Well, that's going to turn down your supply for and very fast for oxygen, so you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
First of all, second of all, it's not going to last forever, and these tunnels, even nowadays, if we go into these tunnels, it takes like hours before to get to one point.
Wow.
So it doesn't make
Oh yeah,
sense.
now, oh yeah. Now they're saying that the pyramid is going 1 mile deep inside. Now they're saying that,
Oh, really?
So, oh yeah. Now they're starting to say that the
Yeah,
Egyptian government don't want to admit it, but the chamber it's going almost like a mile inside. So
and there's
imagine.
water inside also. I think it's a big battery nuclear plant.
Exactly, exactly, and as you say, the inside the stones are so huge and they are so well meshed. The technology and the maths they have used to make that thing is not even possible today. I think that's the reason. That's what I wanted to say earlier. That that's the reason they wanna call the ancients as primitive and as like they were not worth it or they were very backward. Is because they were so advanced that these people can never get to that. You know,
Yeah,
so reason they want to say and or the aliens or whatever, but not these people, right?
yeah,
So that's a big red flag because only we are speaking about pyramids. That's it, and there's so many other stuff around that is so mind-boggling. Some of the construction and structures and temples, and we're
yeah.
speaking
It's
about
immense.
technology, about gears, about moving parts, construction, movable parts, stuff that looks like pistons and jet engines and uh, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's really crazy stuff. And if you look like the Aboriginals or the Indians, and even when they discover some tribes nowadays, they gave the knowledge that they have to their child, knowledge about life, about survival. Because um, if you look at history, Australia once was conquered by Great Britain. And what did they do? Well, exactly just like they did with America. The people that lived there got killed, and basically Australia is built on criminals because it was a detour for, okay, we don't need them in our line or on our island in Great Britain, but we're gonna send them to Australia and just like have fun.
Let them fend for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is, if you look at all these indigenous tribes, they survived hundreds, thousands of years without religion because we have the missionaries that go to preach one religion. Well, that messing them up, first of all. Second of all, the knowledge that they have about nature, they can survive in very harsh conditions. If we basically go to Australia and we got our car breaks down, we probably have a few hours to live. And there are a lot of places on this earth that is so
Yep.
very harsh elements
Oh
of
yeah.
we can survive there. And even if you would like to, and if you look back to, for example, to the Vikings, why were they raiding other countries? They would do that because they knew that their land was a very harsh condition to grow food.
Exactly.
So when they
Exactly.
touch base on in England, they grab the ground and they smell it just like, oh, you smell the
Oh,
rich soil. And that's what they pointed out in some of them series, just like they came from the soil. Because if you go to Sweden and you go to Norway and Denmark, it's cold. There are a lot of spruce forests and stuff like that, but the biodiversity is completely different than the southern part of no the northern part of Europe where I live. and it's like connected like maybe 500, 600 miles
Wow.
away. But it's
There's that much of a difference, huh?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Wow. You see, that's another thing. The North and the South Pole are completely different from each other. In geography and wildlife and plant life, it's completely different. And you know what, Rob? Now, if you Google the North Pole, it's just water. They don't even have a landmass there anymore now.
It's yeah, and if you go to that right, they say it's crazy that we think that we're surrounded with ice walls because we don't point out like Antarctica is this piece that Google Earth shows you on the CGI. No, we think
Yeah.
it's completely rounded.
And here's something about Google CGI, bro. They could tell you what sneakers you got on and what size they are, right? And when you pan up far enough, it turns into that cartoon. But they know what the ground looks like real well, you know.
It's fascinating.
So, but it turns into cartoon CGI. I don't know what the elevation is, but it's not too high.
Well,
Whatever the height of those planes are, like Sophia.
yeah. The funny thing is, if you were running operation like that, you will probably need $70 million a day to keep up the uh, to keep up the lies that you try to tell, because otherwise, you can't do that with normal sense. So if you're having a debate like Vika did with MC Tunes, of course there are some things about if it's going to be a sphere or if it's going to be flat. There are some things that contradictory to each other, or some things. Okay, this is a great point. Let's investigate that. No, no, no. It's here. There's a document. I've been writing down 18 points. Yeah, but I can write down some things in this right here, and that doesn't mean that's the truth, right? Only because I've been written it down. And what I really liked, and I have to shout out to Vika. You kept your cool, and it was very nice because I was stumbling into MC Tunes like I think it like 2 months ago, and I saw him, and it's just like, oh my god! And he did a quite good job for himself to keep the cool, to support you, because the videos that he normally provides on YouTube, for me, is just like switch off. Please switch off because I can't look at it. It's
Oh
and
yeah,
he,
bro.
yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead,
he
go ahead.
and it was very nice that it was narrated with this. I don't know what the name is of this guy, but he narrated it very nice. That it's you got your time, he got a time to respond. It was not like they did with the two pastors to debate flat Earth, and it was chaos. It was shouting and making no points, you know. And this was really great to look at, even if people. And I'm not saying that what we're saying is the truth, but dig into it and make your own plausible truth for yourself. It's something like this gut feeling, which I have 35 centimeters less because they took out 35 centimeters of my gut. But you got this gut
Oh,
feeling if you enter a room, just like, oh, wait a minute, don't feel well because of the people or the atmosphere or something is going on. Why don't we walk in the woods at night? Well, because it's a little bit scary. Predators are coming up and you can't see that good. And in Ireland, you have the fairies. In Finland, you have the trolls. There are other entities that are celebrating life in the night. And that gut feeling is also, if you dig into this kind of stuff. If it's going to be Antarctica Treaty, I was telling a friend of mine yesterday about it, because he's asking me questions, because he doesn't say I'm crazy, but he wants to know more about the stuff that I'm telling. And sometimes he have to say just like, "Oh, wait a minute, Rob, because my head is just like almost crashing right now." But it was like the Second World War when 4 years of war and eventually America touched base on D-Day, 44. Then it took like 1 year to go to Berlin to make Berlin fall, but without any help from the Russians, we would speak German. Well, I do because I'm half part German, but whole Europe will speak German. So we have a lot of things to thankful for the Russians that took on the East Front to conquer Berlin, right? And then all of a sudden they figured out that the German scientists and stuff like that, they were on Antarctica and doing some tests. And then they said, "Okay, guys, we are in war, but come around the table. We're gonna make assignment that we all agree upon one thing, and then we go outside and we can kick our asses because we have to keep up the appearance that we are in the
The
bad.
show.
Yeah, we gotta put up the show. Yeah." If you look at that, grab your beer and cut popcorn and look at the shit show that they're trying to provide you. And if that's not comedy, I don't know.
Oh yeah, speaking about German, brother, the German they are amazing at machines, brother. There's something, the German machines are freaking top class,
Yep.
high precision machines.
Yeah,
So
I'm
they have that reminiscent, though. It's yeah. Go ahead, Gene.
I live
I
like
was just saying tools also.
I live like 15 minutes away from no 10 minutes away from the German border, and where I'm based in the Netherlands, in the south of the Netherlands. Um, if you make a circle from where I live, like 50 kilometers, you probably have like 20 million people, because in Germany cross border there is the biggest industrial complex from Germany. So you have Krupp's Stahl, which is the steel company that provided a lot for VW, but also war stuff, right? The
Oh,
tanks,
really?
that's that kind, and it's all intact. It's still up and running, right?
Mhm.
And that's really funny too, because if you are a general in the army and you go to war, and all of a sudden the regime that you are supporting falls, you do not have to blame. So a general always chooses the side of the new party, but they don't have to be put it in blame about, hey, what did you do over there? Oh, it was just my job.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if you look at the war criminals, these are all lower ranked people that they want to have to put up to blame. But the generals and stuff like that, just like, oh no, I just did my job, and now it's regime A, so I will do my stuff for regime A. And when tomorrow is going to be regime B, don't blame me. I will be on that side. Crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, brother. And I also have a back very short video about uh, the guy who went to Antarctica, the German guy. I don't want to use the word. We all know, right? With the
Yep.
small mustache, right? So he was sending scientists. He was sending scientists towards India also for the Vedas, right? And that is one of the reason he went to Antarctica, because he already figured out, his scientists already figured out the Vimanas, the technologies of the Vimanas. I have a short video, right, on my channel, but it's very maybe few years back, which speaks about that a little bit. Like he literally sent people to go and translate the Vedas and understand what the hell is happening, right? So that's why
Mm,
there was also one scientist called who was working into the vortex, Victor Schallberger. I forgot his name.
good.
Where the people relayed his technology with the jet engine, like of compression technology, right? Without
Yeah,
fuel.
crazy stuff. Crazy
Have you
stuff.
guys heard about?
A little bit, but it's not like, oh yeah. So uh, and the funny thing is, Vika, that, you're lagging when you're speaking. So maybe if you speak not that fast, the lag is going to be different. You figure that out, Gene, when Vika is telling something that there's a lot of lag going on.
Sometimes the audio is good, so the video doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It's okay.
but yes, what you point out,
Okay,
Vika, is
cool.
very interesting. That there are a lot of people were scientifically on a high level about how things work. And if you take a look at Rudolf Diesel, which is a German engineer who made the diesel engine. Well, it's not a diesel engine because the fuel of diesel, but his last name was Diesel. But this engine, everything that's going to be oil, it doesn't matter what kind of oil you put in, it combusts and it makes your engine running. But because they didn't want to put that out, and he was collecting his Nobel Prize, I think it was in London, but he never touched base in London when he went on the ship from Europe to London. They found his luggage in the cabin and never saw a sign of Rudolf Diesel again because he was, of course, telling about his invention that every kind of oil that you have, put it in a machine and it's running. And there are a lot of things like Bob
And
Lazar.
that
I
would
think
be a problem.
that would be a problem. Exactly. Bob Lazar, I think he was uh, tipped on his shoulder because I think he had a Honda car which run on hydrogen.
What?
And there are a lot of people out there that did that, and we never heard about anything about them because when you have this thing going on and you want to scream out of the out of your lungs, I got a very good um, thing that are invited, which could change the world in a positive way. People with a lot of money that are preventing petrol and industries and stuff like that, they don't want to hear that, man. They want to make more dollars because, yeah, I don't know why, but
They don't want any competition either. It's the elected officials ultimately. I think. Back in here in the United States, back in 1920, they had prohibition. I don't know if you heard of that, but they took alcohol off the shelves. They
yep.
arrested anybody involved with it after that, right? And I never knew. Only learned recently, and it only makes sense. So I'm not saying it's true, but I do know that they used to run vehicles off the alcohol that you could drink. So they shut that down. They stopped all production of those motors, and then you know what? They took cannabis and alcohol, and they put it both on prohibition right around the same time. And 13 years later, we got back alcohol after they tightened everything up that they could. And for 100 years, they kept cannabis listed as a Schedule One drug, which means there's no medical value to it. And man, they made a lot of money off of that.
Oh, yeah.
People in jail and the bus, they bring it in, they arrest the people for it. You know,
Unbelievable.
it really
And
is.
but you can get your Adderall, you can get your
Oh,
stimulants like alcohol and
yeah,
tobacco,
yeah,
tea, and coffee. They knew,
100%.
yeah,
They got 8-year-olds on Ritalin in this country, bro.
yeah, it's crazy,
Yep.
crazy. I was
And that's all
Oh yeah.
100. All those pharmaceuticals are 100% petroleum derivatives. You know,
Yeah,
that comes right out of the oil companies, right into pharmaceuticals. So where's the separation there? There's no real separation anymore. No difference between them.
I think there's gonna be a change, and we can change that by having a conversation like this.
Mm,
But we have to make a change about the value of money, right? When you bought a house like 50 years ago, like our parents did, they bought it for like $20,000. Like, for example, now it's worth like 200 or $300,000.
sure.
But people think that they're going to get rich about that, but they're going to be more sucked into the system by thinking about that because they think that it's going to have value. The value that you have with the house is a liability, right? You know that when you're done with work, that you can go home. You open your door and you sleep in your bed. That's your liability. But it, you know, people that think that they're gonna get rich off the market, a lot of people that make a lot of money with a company and stuff like that, what do they do within 10 or 15 years? They probably, you can find them in a yoga retreat camp in India because they think like, okay, I wanted to have money, I wanted to have real estate, I want to have fast cars, I want to have several women, whatever they want. They got it, and then they think, this isn't life. So what are you going to do? They're going to deep digger in, they dive deeper into what really is life's about. And when you're a baby or when you are born, you have nothing with you except probably a soul, maybe an older soul, but that's for everyone to decide. But the funny thing is, everything we gain here in our life, with our consciousness, like this headphones, my guitars, and stuff like that. When I die, all that is gone. I can take it with me, even if I have 20 Rolls Royce stacked up in my front porch. I can take them with me. And it's really funny to see that a lot of people that make a lot of money all of a sudden think about it just like, what is it? And you can find them, just like said, in a yoga retreat in India, thinking about life and humming the beautiful sounds of frequencies.
They realize that chasing money is like an empty
Yeah.
life. The material world is fruitless.
Exactly.
There's nothing there. Empty
What do
people and empty ideas of things that don't really exist. You know?
the
Oh
real
yeah. I was just sharing. I was just sharing Rob's link in the chat because some people were complaining that the link I left in the description was not working. So I just left uh, my podcast with Rob in the chat if anybody wants. And yeah, speaking about people going to like places like India and forgetting, because when you go to that kind of place and that kind of vibe, you the machine, the robotic lifestyle, what is taken over. Even for sure in the Asia you find that kind of lifestyle too. But there are places where you could go and you forget that time exists or anything exists or any control mechanism exists. So there are not even hundred, there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who escape this and go to places like this all over, and they just disappear for months. It's like 6 months you don't exist. There is no time. So when you come back from that kind of experience and adventure, you feel like you are back in the machine,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Mm,
got
And
to
you
be like
feel it,
terrible.
right?
It's got to be
So
terrible
it's
culture
crazy.
shock to come back out of that, though, man. Who would want to
oh,
leave? I don't know.
I had that culture shock here in the Netherlands. I was going to Sci-Fi, which is a psychedelic festival,
Cool.
and I did my job as said as a salesman, so material stuff, and I didn't like it. I feel like I'm an actor, and you give me a hammer and an overall, and I'm a carpenter. Give me a short and a knife, I'm a butcher. You know, just like it's a role that you play. And I
Yeah.
was at this festival, and we were yeah, we were doing some light stuff, drugs like marijuana, stuff like that, and I touched base also on some other psychedelics. But the thing is, we were there partying with like 15 or 20,000 people in this beautiful place in the Netherlands, which was a nature based place, right? There was no shit on the ground, no cigarettes, no waste,
Cups,
nothing,
napkins, plates. Yeah,
nothing. It
that's
was
cool.
beautiful. Oh, I got to get goosebumps all over. And you know why? Um, I was there for like 5 days, partying hard, but walking barefoot, talked to a lot of beautiful people, great music. Vika knows it about the 138 beat. You know, the beat of your rhythm of your heart, and the rhythm of nature. Beautiful people, beautiful festival site, and I went back to work, and I feel disconnected with reality for like almost a month. And it was not about it.
Right?
It was about what the hell am I doing in this rat race that doesn't make any sense?
Yeah. It's exhausting, right, bro?
Yeah.
It's it's really exhausting.
It was one of the things that my doctor asked me when I was dealing with this inflammation and perforation of my intestines. She said, how long do you think you can put up in this system, in this rat race that you're in?
Mm.
And I think I'm consider myself not as a tough guy, but I'm just doing the things that I do. But when you wake up in the morning and uh, you don't know if you make it throughout the day because of your body that's shutting down, basically. Then you have to think about other stuff. And I was a very materialistic guy. I not like that I have fancy cars and stuff like that, but I was looking at that stuff, and I wanted to make money and all of that stuff. But it doesn't make any sense for me now. I'm very happy. I'm very balanced now in life. My biggest connection to everything is nature and friends. Wealth comes with the things that you can share to each other, like love, like support, like food, like yeah. For example, a friend of mine was driving together with me in his car to Switzerland, and he said, "Man, how you feel?" I said, "Oh man, I'm so wealthy. I feel like I'm the king. I'm the emperor of life, man." And he laughed at me because he knew I was broke as a bum. You know, didn't figure out if I could, take some cash from the bank to get some food on the table. To be honest with you, and he said, "How do you? Are you lunatic to think that you're wealthy and healthy?" I said, "Man, I'm so wealthy." And we stopped for 15 minutes for a conversation. And after 15 minutes, I asked him because I didn't have a car, I only had a motorcycle, and I asked him, "Hey, could I borrow your car next week for like Tuesday?" And he said, "Oh yeah, Tuesday, and you can bring it back on Thursday because I will be hitting the road." He's a truck driver. So I looked at him. I said, "You see how wealthy I am? I don't own a car, but next Tuesday I will have a car until Thursday, and it doesn't cost me a dime." That's real wealth.
Right? When you got
Oh
friends to
yeah.
help you like that,
And
man.
also as with food, as you say.
Yeah,
Exactly. Friends, neighbor, community, right?
love and support, and you don't have to agree with each other on every point, but if you, and that's what's very nice with my podcast. I speak a lot of people that I really speak for the first time. So don't app or whatever. I just, oh, I got you this guy on or this girl on, and I go into a conversation and know a little bit of them. That they do permaculture, or that they are flat earthers, or that they have been written a book and stuff like that, or they are into demonology and stuff like that. But when you connect with your heart and mind to that person, magic is happening. And I really like that about people. I'm a social misanthrope, so I'm a people hater, but on a social level. Um, it's yeah. The thing is, if you really take a deep conversation with the human that you normally wouldn't do, like someone who lives on the street, you know, like they call the bum in America. Uh, but ask them what's their story. It's not like that they choose for it. Probably they have a very fruitful life with a beautiful family, and things got fucked up. And all of a sudden you end up on the streets. And what's the life support? If you look in the Netherlands, if you are um, 20 years ago, if you are, and even nowadays, if you have a family and you have a wife, you have a mother and a father, and they're going to separate, probably the wife has a better life afterwards because they have more support, and the man that brings in the money has to cut it because alimentation can't find uh, somewhere to live because the prices are so piled up that high. So there's something going on, and it's really crazy because I was dealing with that myself because my father, he lived in Germany, and my mother she's Dutch. So when they were divorced, my father went to Germany again, and I had some contact, but I also lost some contact for like 10 years and stuff like that because I'm stubborn and I had my own stuff going on. And I thought, well, we basically had a wrong perception of each other. Let me say it like that way. And he got letters from the Queen of the Netherlands about paying alimony and stuff like that. And he said, well, if the bitch can fight me, she can visit me too to ask that instead of sending me some letters. But the funny thing is, because I was seeing what happened to him, because when you have like 2,000 euros or like 2,500 euros and you support a family together, and all of a sudden you've been cut out of that family and you don't see your kids, or you have a schedule with your ex-wife and with your kids, and you have to pay alimony, which you do probably with a lot of love because they're your children and you hope they gonna be feeded well. But the wife, she can tell people like, oh, I'm not gonna get the money that I used to have. So they have counselors already in America that's going to provide the women the right knowledge to get as much as money from the guy. So from the 2,500 euros that you make, probably 1,000 euros is for you. Or you can rent a house for that. You can drive a car for that and eat. That's, yeah, it's hard stuff, but it's it's been there. I put it out. We
Oh
have to
yeah,
change.
brother. Oh yeah, brother. It's all part of us to understand, right, what is happening and makes strong everybody who's involved, right? In a way. Yeah, but there is a lot of manipulation by the governments and the controllers, right, in that aspect of family that they would never want the families to be together, right? So they will put everything there to make sure. So, oh yeah. So that's great, brother. So the more different people, when you get to the podcast, you have a bigger idea of what's happening, right? You understand from different aspect of many things, and then you can put together and join the dots and have your own right way of seeing things, right?
Exactly, and that's a beautiful point. Even and I can relate that, and that's a little bit psychology, but it's how it works. I was it, it, I was driving as a salesman, as said, a senior sales manager, whatever bloody title they give to it. I just was Rob doing sales. Yeah, okay. So when I called this guy and I said, I've been like 5 o'clock in the evening. I will be at your company. Is that okay? Because I was a little bit late. He said, no, it's no problem. So I went there, and at exactly 5 o'clock, I was sharp. I was there, and I saw this guy, locking up the building, and he was looking around. And I stopped my car, and I said, "Hey, hi, is it closed?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, we're closed." I said, "Oh well, I just had a call like like an hour ago, that are gonna be like 5 o'clock, and I had an appointment with this and this guy." He said, "I am this guy." And he was really frustrated. He was fed up about life, right? He was just like, "Oh, I'm not going to give you any attention." And I said, "Just to be honest with you, I just drove 8 hours to get here. I arranged you like 2 hours before and an hour before about what time that I'm going to be expecting to be here, right?" So he said, "Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you 5 minutes to tell what kind of stuff that you're selling." So there was a very disconnected tone, and no balance, no love, no nothing, right? So I had to do my stuff. Never prepared for that either, because I don't like it. I like to improvise the situation as it is. So I went into his office, and he was not looking up. It was a German guy, and in Germany, you have a higher form of communicating with each other. So uh, yeah, so you in the American language or in the English language, um, doesn't point out if you're younger or older. If you're older, or you're a gentleman in Germany, you say Z. That's a higher U, just like a normal U, and a U with a capital Y, right? Okay. So I went through his office, and I didn't get any feedback. He wasn't interested, and he said just like, "Okay, he gave you 5 minutes." Well, what happened then? I was looking in the mirroring of the mirror from his laptop, and I saw the exact same motorcycle as I had. So I said to him, "Do you drive motorcycle?" And he looked up. He said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you driving a Honda VFR 800 VTEC?" He said, "Yeah." "How do you know?" I said, "Well, I can see it in the mirroring of the mirror from your laptop." And he pointed out, when we get in for the 5 minutes that he gave me, uh, I've been working late for almost like a month. My wife is going to kill me when I'm not home at time today. All kinds of stuff to tell me, get lost, fuck off, buzz off, The funny thing is, when I pointed out his motorcycle, we were talking like a half an hour. And with that half hour, we touched base on so many things about related to motorcycles and stuff like that. His wife ranked 2 times. When the hell are you going to get home? And he said, I'm sorry, I'm in a conversation. I catch you later, babe. No problems and stuff like that. I made the deal. Why? Because I was looking at opportunities to connect with this person. And that's so funny because every human being has some connection with each other. If it's going to be on a spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, knowledge based, whatever, there's always something that could intrigue you or interest you about another human being. Like that. And that's something that really fascinates me. I'm very passionate about it, and I talk a lot. I'm sorry for that.
No, no, brother, you are the guest, brother. So we want to hear you. You interview a lot of people, so it's like today it's your interview. So have fun, brother. Before we continue, I want to give a big shout out to No Longer on the Ball. He says, Vikka added your profile link to the wiki under your page. Thank you, brother, for all you do and for the page. Yes, people do check out the wiki type by our brother No Longer on the Ball. Amazing stuff, amazing collection database for everything related to our True Earth content. And yes, we should also add our brother Rob channel there. So there is a link of Rob channel that I have left in the chat. So yeah, would be also a great ad there because he's getting out some amazing content and it's totally flattered, right? In a way with all the spirituality related to it. And yeah, getting a little bit spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm. Love it.
So yeah, more higher vibration, right? Let's speak about something that we couldn't speak. We left off like about aliens and extra lands. What are your opinions about aliens and extra land, Rob?
Oh, nice point. Especially how you say it. Um, well, well, I'm stumbling about the words. Extraterrestrial, ET. It's when you translate it as extra land. With the belief system that I have, or not belief system, but the things that I think that's uh, more the truth than what we've been telling. That's the truth. It's very possible that there's extra land beyond Antarctica. And there was an admiral that flew across that country or continent or whatever, and he found that. So I really don't think they come from space. I used to believe that in the well, I was raised with Steven Spielberg with ET, so there should be something, right? I never believed in a science fiction crap like or crap. I don't want to offend people, but sometimes I do. I never was into Star Wars or when I played video games, not into like space stuff. Never was related to that. So yeah, to get back to your question, um, I don't believe aliens exist as they want to point out on the movies and the series that they're gonna tell about and they're gonna show you on TV. And if they are already or been here since the beginning of dawn, or they are coming from the extra land and they are other entities. Just like if you go to, I think it's Costa Rica, something like that, in this country in the world, every single day there are hundreds or tens of new species of flora and fauna discovered. Just like our oceans, we don't know what's in it. We know like, oh, we know 5% about the oceans. Well, if you don't know what 100% is, how do you know that you're on 5%?
Yeah. They say the same about space, Rob. 96% is dark energy and dark matter, and everything we know is only 4% of what everything really is. So
Yeah, and
it's so synonymous.
we're so advanced in technology that we even in the 40 or 50 years that we've been up there, and with the skeptic questions that, okay, point a camera at the earth, they can't make that happen. If you were making 70 millions a day to have something really good going on with the good vibration and the good love and stuff like that, and you want to provide real truth, you just say, okay, shut up, look at this, and not like edited by CGI this or you don't do that, especially not if you are such a big uh, company or organization that has to tell you something about what life on Earth or beyond Earth is. And if you tell the lie about 50 years ago, people would say, okay, that's true, because they had in a village, you had a priest, a doctor, and a policeman, and these were the authorities of that civilization, right? About that community. So when there was something wrong, you go to the police. If you had some questions about spiritual things, you went to the priest. Um, when something was stolen or something, you go to the police. And of course, you had the teachers of school, like the indoctrination system, that knew very well how to shut you up, because in the early days, you're gonna get a smack against your head when you didn't sit still, or with the liner. And I was pulled on my ears when I was young. There was one. There was one of these crazy. She was crazy, man. When you did something wrong, which and we were basically full of shit in these days. She pulled so hard that I think my ear lab is like 1 centimeter longer here. That's not true, but in the early days, you didn't question everything because you're gonna get a smack against your head.
Oh yeah. Well, you remember you had one guy on your podcast who was speaking about demonology, right? So you had the whole podcast with him. You understand more or less where he was going with it, what his idea with. But I got that he was relating this thing to the aliens, like
Yeah.
a
So
lot.
Nathaniel Gillis, shout out for this guy. He's doing some really, really dark stuff to point it out what we're facing when we're facing ghosts, aliens, or some entities, some cryptids and stuff like that. And he's very balanced and a very nice guy. And you have to be balanced, because otherwise the dog is going to suck you in, and you're going to be a very, very different person. But Nathaniel pointed out that probably there are entities, let's call them entities, that are thousands of years old or hundreds of years old, that can shapeshift and give you the image that you think there is. So, for example, when you believe in aliens and this, let's say, dark energy comes up to you, like a shadow people or whatever they call, right? They can shapeshift to that image that you can relate with, so they can contact you.
So
But
that
not
you
only that,
scared.
sorry?
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah,
So they don't get
so
scared. So the people don't get scared. Like they're seeing
exactly.
the real.
They got
But
to vibrate at the right frequency, so there's a communication that works between the two, right?
exactly. And as we're talking about the subject, you're going to get goosebumps all over my body. But the thing is, um, you the reality that I see when I'm not on drugs, let me say it that way, is just like the things that I see, right? So sometimes when I took a trip, to La La Land, I saw some different things in the same room as I am now, or whatever, right? So reality is going to be a little bit bended, and that's okay. The thing is, uh, with light comes dark. So when people facing stuff like that, and you can also see on the internet quite some stuff, I love to look at Dark Ghost and Tim Mortzov, who connect to these haunted houses, and things are happening there, and it's not edited, and you can see it on the footage that they provide, because they are also, just like Nathaniel, very interested in these matters. What is it, and there's some evil things going on, because with evil comes good. It's always a duality. So, yeah, getting back to your question about aliens, um, I think that Nathaniel pointed it out, that I'm very good. It could be an image that you want to be. That doesn't mean that this image that's going to be provided to you is. And that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Exactly. Because what I also understand is that when you start uh, connecting with those frequencies and those contacts and those communication, you should be ready for all aspect of it, and it could be harnessed as a positive or a negative frequency or vibration that a person could reach, right? You can use that, and people use that as a positive tool, and people use that as a negative tool, because that it has the power to manifest on all the polarity, right? So
Exactly.
everything is possible, right? Every contact, every alien, every communication, every healing, everything is possible, right? But
Yeah.
with the right vibration, with a positive frequency, right? So it's becomes a very strong tool and could be manipulated by people, and is used.
Yeah. If you look at the funny thing is, if you take like psilocybin, like a mushroom, or DMT or LSD, your reality is going to shift. But it's like a chemical reaction in your brains, right? It's very fascinating. You take some substance, just like if you take a shot of coffee in the morning, it's going to stimulate your brain to wake up. Um, so if you um, if you are on a different path, or a different balance in your life, and what I mean with that is that you're feeling depressed, or you lost someone that's very dear to you. If stuff like that happens, it's also getting into that frequency. And I think it's like our system, let's call it our chakra system, is based on different levels of energy. And when some of these um, chakras, or when some things are not good defended from our castle, things from the outside can get in. And it's very fascinating to see that people that are dealing with depressions, or with some stuff that's been going on in their families for a couple of decades, or whatever, um, can experience these, let's call them entities. And just like you said, Vika, there's positive energy, just like if you see the sun coming up and you hear the birds, like for 6 o'clock in the morning, just like you can put your alarm clock on it, just 6 o'clock, the first birds are gonna shell with the frequency, so everything opens up in nature with the flowers and stuff like that, because they hear the sound from the frequency. But the other stuff is, if you're going like at midnight, when it's a little bit dark, when it's dark and a little bit misty, do you go
Yeah.
picnic on the graveyard? Probably not. If you have the
Yeah, or the bats.
yeah, and and it's all frequency. And just like you said, if you give energy to something, positive or negative, you're gonna feed it. and with the positive
Exactly.
energy that you want to
And
gonna bring out, but with the other stuff
exactly.
too.
And
And
there are many people, yeah, many people they feed in the negative energy. That's why it's the problem, the manifestation, as you say, right? You can have a how do you say hole in your energetic body, and the energy is all draining out, even though you are eating the most healthy and you're going to the gym, you know but it's not, because it's all about controlling that energy too. It's sustain it within also, that is flowing. It's not blocked. Means when it's blocked up the chakras or the energy system, that what it means. That is not the right flow of energy, right? That's why sometimes
mm,
even when you are full cold but your one feet is hot, or the vice versa, right? So that's because the energy is not flowing,
exactly.
right? And yeah, the people do clutch onto negative energies and negative frequencies, because maybe that's a part of their evolution or karma or growth that they need to go through to become the better version of themselves. And some people make it, and majority don't make it out of this, right? Because instead of curing spiritually, on physical, mental, and spiritual level, they are all feeded with chems, right? So there is no hope, right?
No,
Yeah, they blame it on an imbalance that's inside, but now they realize they're backtracking on that, saying, "Oh, it might not be a chemical imbalance that we're talking about all these years, guys." So they don't know what they're doing. They're just, that. Oh, just try this. That don't work. Oh, well, come back. Try this. Oh,
yeah,
well, you know what? That worked a little bit. Try two of these. That's that's all they do.
and
It's terrible. You gotta you gotta be able to distinguish the voices in your head that are trying to tell you to do stupid things and bad timing, and then like the Led Zeppelin song "All My Love." He says one line in there where it says, "One voice is clear above the din," and the din is the chatter and the noise in the background. And if you can kind of shut that off, and yeah, one voice will come clear through to you. That's like
absolutely.
when you're talking in walking around in nature and you silence the world, and you realize that the calmness that we're really surrounded by. And you know what, Rob, I like to say is we all got that chatter in our head and that monkey mind kind of thing. And when you don't feed those monkeys that are chipping away at your thoughts, they'll eventually start to go away because you don't feed them. And then your internal conversation gets better and better.
Exactly. And we
You
have to
know,
be very
exactly.
aware. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, brother, go ahead.
We have to be very aware, and Nathaniel pointed out that everyone can get involved with that energy, and not to like fear porn and stuff like that. But
yeah.
um, I have a my girlfriend. She works in this mental institution,
Mm.
and that has a long past, like 150 years. Also in the Second World War, where they put people in basements because the bad guys wanted to kill them all, right? Because they were not pure and stuff like that, because they had a handicap and stuff like that.
Wow.
So a lot of things happen, lobotomy and stuff like that, in these houses and then on these grounds. And she noticed that things were traveling with her.
Okay, they're attaching to her, huh?
Yeah. So they can attach also to a positive person, like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm a free-minded, I'm healthy, I'm doing my breath work, I do grounding, I drink from a cup
Yeah.
of ale. It doesn't. These entities are so powerful and so
Yeah.
intelligent that they can shapeshift into some reality that you don't know,
Yep.
that you don't expect, that you
Can't recognize it as something bad, so you don't know to stay away from what it's trying to tell you. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. But if you look at, for example, for Tim Marsoff or like paranormal stuff on YouTube, which is quite there, people get dragged by some energy that you don't see, or light bulbs are turning off and on. Uh,
Electricity.
the doorknob is going tick, 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 and you don't see it. So for us people, we want to see or something that's been mechanical made so that it's been doing that, or it should be a human that's going to fool you, right? You know.
Mm.
But what if there is an entity that harvests your positive energy to get stronger, especially when you have
Wanted to
fear.
get exactly,
Especially
brother.
when
This is what I wanted to add. Like these entities do manipulate different things, right? We think that, or the other kind of entities, they cannot manipulate matter, but everyone, the same way as we have possibilities, like as human in this three-dimensional, to reach seas or levels that is out of this world or out of this dimension, that are possible for the other entities from these other dimensions to come and manipulate or work with or speak with or communicate with us. What is in reality it's proving is that this exists, this other dimension, these other entities exist. It's not just everything three-dimensional and physical, like what we want to think of ourselves, right?
exactly, it's like
I
if
think
you walk in.
it's one of the best proof. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, brother. Hmm.
It's like if you're walking in the forest, right? So you are walking in the forest, and as a human, you think, "Hey, I'm walking in the forest. I see some trees, I see a path, and I get some fresh air." But it's not like that. If you look to the ground very closely, you see ants, you see little bugs. They have their own territory. You if you wait a little bit longer, you can see some other diversity of nature, like the flora and fauna. But with that
Like the
comes,
mushrooms.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly, yeah, exactly. I love to touch base on the mushrooms, man. Yeah, but the thing is that there's always duality. So uh, what our perception is of reality doesn't mean that that's the reality, right? Just like time, we are we are now here. What I
That's
did
it.
today doesn't matter, because if I've been screwing around or not, that was that's the past. I can change it, you know. Then I had to do it today. And about tomorrow, well, heck, I don't know, man. Maybe I don't wake up tomorrow, but I have a brilliant podcast with Gina and Vikka. You know, I mean, live in the present, and what comes, we don't know. We can a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit figure it out, but what I said about the forest, right? You have so much going on with if a storm is passing, the force is changing, everything is changing, and everything is it never stands still, and you see that especially in nature. So just like what I said, if you look at from a perspective of a human, I walk down the forest. Sorry, if you look down the forest, you see the forest. No, look down and you see a complete what's it called? A new universe spreading on your feet where you walk upon, and you never touch the soil from the mycelium and stuff like that that's on the ground, providing the forest, the density, the you know, when a tree dies, the mushroom is going to take over. It is going to take that down, just like we are decomposing when we're dying. You know, and that's what
There's therapy in the dirt, bro. You know, it's very healthy for you.
universes in soil, man. Complete universes that we can comprehend
Right.
everywhere we look, right? And it's like Vika said, it's a system on a system on a system on a system, and
Right.
we have a perspective of looking at from our point of view with our indoctrination, with our belief systems and stuff like that. But you know, skip that shit. Skip it. You know, just stand there, bare feet, on the ground in a forest, take a deep breath, and let it sink in for like 20 or 30 seconds. Just breathe, and then
Oh yeah.
close your eyes and then open up your eyes and then be aware what's going on everywhere, man. Birds are now, they make their nests. Some of them birds, they are gonna flirt with the others because they want to make some eggs for Eastern.
Spring's coming.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's so fascinating, man. I can talk about it for hours, and not that I found out how it's working, but it's very nice to what I said in the beginning of the podcast. You go one rabbit hole, and just like said, I was a salesman. I was a very angry person. I shouted at everyone that was passing me with the car or couldn't drive. In my perspective, with my stupid belief system, I was very subjective about every topic that there was on TV. So I shut it down on TV and throw it out. Uh, every time when I get in the car, when there's a radio on, I switch that off. I don't want to hear that bullshit, man. If you are, even if we had like a few years back when we were in this very tiny room because we couldn't get out. If you are there and you have these things that you have, what doesn't matter that what's happening outside. But if you see it on your telephone, this is going on and that is going on. Oh yeah, why bother? Well, can you change it?
Exactly.
Can you change it? If you can
Exactly.
change it, leave it, man. It's gonna spill your energy.
Yeah, and
Oh
it
yeah,
also
brother.
takes your
Absolutely.
time away from you connecting to yourself.
Yeah,
You
the
know.
true divine is within us, and I think that the ether, the one that they took out because they only say, yeah, you got the air, the earth, the fire, and the
Water.
water, right? But there's a fifth element, and that's ether. Ethernet
Mm-hmm.
is connecting data within nothingness, and I think that's the collective that we have to go through to spread some uh, truth and to, well, not only spreading truth but getting in a conversation with people even if you disagree with each other, to talk about stuff. What's your opinion about this? Not to attack you that you have a different opinion, but what's your opinion? Oh, that's fascinating. A lot of people that are mad that are not in the topics that I am. Oh, you're crazy. Well, that's an easy answer. That's a very easy answer. Oh, you're
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's your default
Oh yeah.
answer. It's
They.
just that's your conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a critical thinker. That's a little bit different. I'm thinking critical about the things that they throw at me. You know, that's different. Is
Oh
that?
yeah, brother. And
Go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go
Because
ahead. Go ahead.
it's just like the guitar. It's an instrument, right? Everybody knows that that's an instrument, but eventually it's not. It's a way to make frequencies work, right? So if you don't put on the right chord, you will have a not so good sound. So a lot of people say, "Oh my God, that doesn't seems right." But if you tune into the right chord and you have the chord progression, what a sound is, or where music is based on, then you can relate to it or not. About, well, whatever it is going to be. But it's a frequency you dig into. So when you listen to a song on the radio and you need a little pumped up and you hear the song just like Rage Against the Machine, just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I needed that. Or when you're feeling sad because something happened in your life which is not that good, and you hear this song from Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven. Hey man, that's gonna be right into your frequency. So these are, well, instruments. Yeah, that's point good. But these are frequency makers, and you.
To reach, brother. Yeah, it's to reach. You could even take a small branch with a leaf, a small branch with some leaf, and you start shaking
Yeah.
it, and it will make you music, or anything like what he's saying with the hand,
Yeah, you can
or
make a whistle with a blade of grass in your thumb, and you can make a whistle. All right,
oh yeah,
yeah,
or from the canes you could make things that is making sound, and if you just continue, it's better than a drum. You could, it's just reaching to that frequency, and it's like almost yeah, tapping into the other side. It's almost, because in the end, all this music, all this frequency, in the end, it's like a trance, right? You wanna the people, why the other many cultures have that repetitive singing and that repetitive instruments, is because it gets you into that state without nothing.
Exactly.
That music and frequency has that power, right?
it really
That
does. It can trigger, you know, age-old emotions in you in two notes or one note. You name that tune in one note, and you're in tears or whatever. It just brings you back instantly. It's a tool. It could be a tool for that. And so it's like you're saying, Rob. I lost affection for a lot of the media in all senses. Like I don't listen to music the way I used to, or TV at all, really much. I got a little bit more into it because I feel a little more comfortable, and I don't want to just completely disassociate because there's stuff to learn from it as well.
Hmm.
You got to keep your eye on the enemy, kind of thing. They're there to teach us also, but you got to just be careful how you do it, right?
Yeah, love your friends, but keep your enemies closer, right?
Right, right. Yeah, exactly.
But we said with the frequencies, the biggest instrument we have is ourselves. With the voice. What I do a
exactly.
lot nowadays is humming. Just like I'm just sitting
Bro.
at home or whatever I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
do. Just like,
love it.
oh
I
man,
love it also, especially
or just
those
make some.
from those the throat singing is amazing. It can really
Yeah.
bring you. It will
Oh,
bring you
Brother.
in.
Yeah. Rob, I had an issue with my shoulder, right?
They do
And
with two tones. Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
well, I want to tell you guys, you remember Vika? Like, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, I had a really bad issue with my shoulder. And I've torn both my rotators, so I know what kind of pain it is, and it was pretty bad, and I didn't know what happened. No real incident. I couldn't, so I'm like, oh, wow, this is not funny, and it kind of got a little worse in a week or so, and a cat's frequency is like 50 to 150 hertz, which is healing for muscle and bone, and I love cats. I have two. And I just decided to, like, oh, wait a second, if that's healing, let me try this. And I went into a couple of sessions with myself, and bro, it was gone like so quick. And the time, it wasn't real, I don't know, but the timing was so perfect. So I think it was self healing, actually. I really do. And the
we
cat, you know
can.
what? My cat jumped on my. I found a cat, and it took a while for it to get friendly. I had a surgery on my stomach. And for the first time after a year, she jumped on my stomach when I got home. Every day, 2, 3 times every day, bro. So their intuition I think, is far supreme than mine, at least. I can't speak for anybody else, but no, the vibration and healing is probably limitless in opportunities and places to go, and preventative and healing, like a broken bone or something. Like that's where medicine kind of gets twisted, because yeah, they'll fix your broken bones, but they'll also keep you on medicines that you're never able to get off of.
Mm,
So
true.
they got that twisted mix in there where, yeah, they're great, but yeah, they suck.
Oh yeah, the sound does play a very important role in healing.
Yeah,
Sound is
bro.
really important, as you said about the cat. Also with the dolphins, there are people. swims with dolphins because the dolphin emits some kind of frequencies that is healing for human beings,
Mm,
right? And there are
So
instruments that people
cool.
use, like the singing bowl, the Tibetan singing bowl. It
Right.
almost create portals. The frequency is just you know simple sound, but it's so penetrating. It can
mm,
literally open portals. As Effie Nation says, sound and vibration. That's what it is. The whole universe. It's like a sound and vibration, right? From the smallest, from the level of the atom to this whole organism we could call the Earth is like sound, vibration, frequency, and energy. Everything
mm.
is vibrating, right?
Yep.
So yeah, if we see us in that way, there's a way we could heal ourselves and be in more harmony, right, with the nature around and everything, because it's important to believe in these things so these things work for you in that way, right?
Yeah.
If you don't believe, nothing is going to work. But if you
No,
believe it, miracles happen, right?
That's so true. It is so
Even
true.
with the humming of the cat, it's so nice that if you have a cat, I had several cats, and
Nice.
they make this noise, right? And I can sometimes my girlfriend, she has two cats. One of them, she comes always to me, and they figured out that cats don't see you, but they see energy, right?
Hmm.
So if you are in a room and you come back from work, they do not directly recognize you, but when they see the energy, they can relate. Oh, that's that kind of entity, right? But just like you said, Gene, when she's on your stomach, they know that you've been hurting. That's why they don't lie down for the first year on it, but they make this beautiful sound.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It is. It's music, bro.
It's exactly, but I think that we are, and that's touch base on a lot of subjects that we talked about today. A lot of knowledge that our ancestors had about basically us and the universe that we're in, and not the universe outside, but the universe within, are been lost or been wrongly translated or been well burned down, right?
Yeah,
But
that's the
with a
book
lot of
burning, bro. They might have burned books, but they kept a copy of everything.
yeah, but we need the copy here. We need
Right.
to provide, just like the Aboriginals and the Indians and the Chinese and the Japanese, and every culture has this thing going on about storytelling, right? The
Mm.
myths about stuff. There's always something that they say, even if you go to campfire and you're gonna tell scary stories. Well, how do you gonna pee in a forest when you just heard the story about these ghosts, stuff like that? But why? Because we resonate with it. Because we are deep inside, our gut feeling tells us, wait a minute, that could be something. And it wouldn't be the first time that well, probably I was tripping my balls off, but that I was afraid because I have in my kitchen I have this waistband or a sack where you put all your stuff in, like a trash sack. I don't know what's it called in English, but you know
Trash can, yeah.
Garbage
yeah,
can.
trash can, but it's just a sack, just no can. And I
Okay.
was stripping my balls off and just like, oh, I'm not afraid, man. I'm listen to some music and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I just touch this bag, this trash bag, right? And it made a little sound, and I saw a little black thing going on, just like, holy, oh, and I looked, oh shit, it was just a trash bag, man, or a trash bag. But yeah, you can get into some real, yeah, crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking to a garbage bag for half an hour, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been talking to some things that normally I would use or stuff like that. Or
Inanimate
I had a
objects.
Yeah, and especially when you walk in nature, if you're
Oh
tripping
yeah,
on stuff.
exactly. The whale can get thinner sometime. People wanting or don't wanting connect to these frequencies, right? That's why people see strange things sometimes. Is because it's just the whale is too thin between dimensions, you
Yep.
know. So
And I don't
Yeah,
believe
and
it
that could
your
be one of the
vibration,
reasons.
your vibration will change also. So under taking something might be like under extreme circumstance, and it's just your vibration changes. You're able to see other things.
mm, the
Oh
only
yeah, brother. A lower vibration is gonna be lower. Everything lower. Underworld, everything lower. Higher vibration is gonna be light, right? So there's a scale of totally up and down, and in the middle, right? Everything is
Mhm.
yeah,
accessible depending on where, how much the person is vibrating and reaching that frequency, right? And tuning in that radio, like the same way we are tuning in this so we could be together and speak, right? We had to tune in, all of us, three of us and everybody watching, right? We had to tune in, right? So it's the same way it's possible to tune in, not only auditory, also visually, right? Almost, right? So
yeah,
that's
And
and G.
great.
and you think of the millions of other channels that are out there
Oh yeah,
doing so many other things, and you could swap it out for a different life also, the idea of it. Like they explain outer space to be so vast and endless that we can't even imagine how many different planets and star systems and galaxies and supernova, all these things. There's just countless numbers. That's how I look at the plane. Like, wow, imagine the plane is just this endless, vast community of worlds that we're just not there. Then maybe they're not here. Maybe they are. And we're just here to
mm,
explore and learn and teach each other and be good to each other, right?
yeah.
And all
And we
these
have
things are what we're never taught in school here, bro. We're
no, we don't want to do that. No, it's
no,
like I see it like this way. If you look at we're almost like 8 billion people on this planet,
that's what they're
so there are
telling us, right?
there are 100% 8 billion universes because
Right?
everyone has his own perspective, his own
Yeah.
dream, his
I
own.
mean, we
Oh
can't
yeah.
even couldn't even imagine what this creator could create besides like the physical world that we're so attached to, and because we walk around, go to sleep, wake up every day. It's a physical world, but there's way more to it than they're leading on to us to believe. They kind of dangle things in front of us with the television shows, but they're not telling us real secrets. And
Mm,
we're here to kind of figure it out with each other, and we are. The ether is that invisible connection. Like we're using the ether right now. People got no problem believing that, right? But when you talk about things that's not mainstream, like we are trying to, they seem to lose connection. That's not possible. Just pictures go through that. You need a phone to do it. We are the phones, and we are the the transmitters and receivers, and
oh yeah,
you know just like I could, if I picked this phone up 40 years ago, I might not know how to use it really. I'd be like, what am I doing with this thing?
yeah.
Nope. Right, and it's really kind of very similar, you know
And you know what was very fascinating? Two things I want to point out. If you look at a computer, it's based on silica and it's based on
Mm.
basically dust and iron and stuff like that. So the things that we are being been built up in our body, the same components are used for computer to transmit energy. But here's the thing: if you connect to someone, just like I connected with Vika a while ago, 100% sure when I'm just like 3 weeks ahead, I'm doing my stuff, he's doing his stuff, we don't call, we don't interact or whatever. When I think about him, something happens in his life that he thinks about me. I'm one that is the fastest connection you have, and you don't need a telephone to do that.
Yeah, I believe that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Ether, and we all are connected to that ether. Exactly, because we all are connected to that ether. And when you have access and you understand the way it works, we connect. We are one. We, as we said, the telepathic or signals, or could be any other ways. But that's what is happening. And
Mm,
everyone, when they try to ether, is this like you could say as God, because it's inside everything, right?
mm.
Everything that exists and everything that don't exist, right?
And the funny thing is,
It holds everything together. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, man.
No, no, go ahead, brother.
The funny thing is, a lot of people know that the English language is a lot of spells, right? So we have weekdays. I call them strong days. I have strong ends, no weekends. But the thing
Right.
is, someone pointed out, my girlfriend pointed out something that's really blew my mind. If you want to connect to the real divine source of yourself, you need to be alone. But if you take that word alone and you cut it in two pieces, you got all one.
Wow. Nice.
One. Exactly. I had a meme
Great.
of this many years ago. All one. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Cool. I love
Yeah.
that, man.
And that's what I mean
People,
when we have, that's what I mean. Okay, go.
I think people get a lot out of that. That's excellent, and how the words are spells and misleading.
Mm. But a lot of people are afraid to get alone.
Oh
If
yeah.
you
And
look at a normal people's life with a family and a job and children, they don't get any moment of the day alone.
Yeah.
Or
I
when
don't know
they
what to
are
do with
alone,
it.
yeah, exactly. But that's how the system created us to get all this bullshit every time on our radar.
Very
All
cool.
these distractions, all these things.
So true. Wow.
so this is also what I mean, right? With that, it means it's possible to contact and connect with everything that exists in an instant. That's why we, when have these kind of experience, you feel it that you are there, or that being you have contact with is so real, because for them it's the same, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
it's really amazing. And there there are a lot of things that I tell, not only on my podcast but also with my courses, because I do some coaching. And for me, it's also a daily struggle. So I was drinking a lot, doing drugs and stuff like that. I will never ever tell myself, because I would lie to myself, oh, I will never drink again, or I will never do drugs again. I will never say that. And why do I want to point this out? If you're not truthful and honest with yourself, not to other people, I don't give it, not anymore. I love people, but I don't give a shit about them. If you know what if you know what I'm trying to say. Um, I could say here that, oh yeah, I'm a life coach, blah blah blah, and my slogan is change life before it changes you. But I screw up every single day, right? That makes me me. That makes me why I can dig into people because they're gonna struggle 100% because all of this distraction, as I told about before, um, especially what you pointed out, Gene, with the music. I listen to a lot of music. Well, everything basically, and there are a lot of types of music that I listened in the early days. I can't listen to it anymore. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, I'm skipping branches like a squirrel, as I would like to say. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're not truly honest to yourself about the relation that you're in, about the job that you have, about the things that you think that are wealthy, or what's your health, what's your perspective of health, what's your perspective of being a good, positive person. You know, that skips from all 8 billion universes, right? But you always have to be true to yourself. And how do you figure that out? That's about being all one, alone. Listen to your own voice in your head. And if it's stumbling down and you're not listening to it, then you have something really nice and powerful going on. Because all these voices, all these chatters, and especially what I said just like a few minutes back, if you have a family, especially the women, they are the organizers of this planet, right? Because the man goes to work, he does his job, he brings in the money, and the women is gonna take care of the cash and the food and the children and all the transport and the logistics in the family, right? But when a man goes to bed, he probably thinks like, "Oh, tomorrow I'll have a meeting or stuff like that," and he knocks out. But a woman lies in bed and just like, what about Jerry tomorrow? Oh, I should pick up the bread first. Then I have to drive to that. Oh, I have to be aware of the detour. She's the blah 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 blah. That's constantly shattering on her brain. So even if she's lying in bed alone, she's not alone. She's not all one because there's too many distractions around from all the stuff that's been putting up in our lives, in my perspective.
Oh yeah, we were built like that, right? Women's and men's were built like that because if no, it would have be haywire. Oh yeah,
Oh man,
but it's a
great.
reason, right? Men's are men because how they are, yeah, and women's are women because how they are, right?
Yeah.
Well,
There's
yeah, guys, that's why they came up with the campaign to take women in mass out of the house and put them in the workforce and feel good about it. They broke up the fan. That was such a win for them. You know, they all the women left the house. Kids went to preschool earlier to get indoctrinated by at a younger age by these people. You know, the workforce doubled, pay rate got cut in half, taxes doubled, and it's all in 10 years. It was crazy. And then you
Oh
bring it
yeah,
up
and
to
even
some.
if it's two, even if the exactly, and it's not even if two the couple is working together, it's not enough money because the inflation and everything's so expensive. In the end,
Yep.
yeah,
go ahead,
it's
Gene.
crazy.
No, it was just such a crazy scenario. But, you know, because of the media, the songs, the actresses and actors that supported it and pushed this agenda, and it can all be traced back. You know, you can, but you can believe what you want. You know,
Hmm.
I've had not arguments, but I have discussions with I have four sisters, and they don't understand what I'm talking about. And I'm like, really? You'd rather see your sister's children go out to preschool and your sister go out and compete for money to pay bills that she can't even afford. Now she's got, what kind of scenario do I need to paint
Hmm.
to make that understandable? You know, I don't know. people at different levels. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying women don't belong in the workforce. I mean, they're the driving force of this whole entire world, bro. Like you said, we need women all over the place. We'd be lost without women. So it's not like I'm like, oh, women can't compete. What are you doing here? It's not like that at
No, no,
all.
no. And the funny thing is, when we had the Industrial Revolution like 150 years ago, they
Hmm.
said, "Oh, we invented this steam power and stuff like that, so we can basically make more stuff with less people, so you have more
Right.
time." Look at us
Yeah.
now. The whole family is going to work to get some stuff on the table and can't afford the whole damn shit because it's too expensive. So what about this revolution thing that was good for us? No, 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 no. You milk the cow and you do it all over again. And we are the harvesting energy, man. We are the
Mhm.
yeah, and they don't give a shit if you drop that tomorrow.
Nah, they really
Probably
don't. They'll
Oh
make
yeah.
my
money off that too.
yeah, and probably the company where you're working for has the job subscription out before you are entering in your friend's Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever that you're dead.
Yeah,
Figure that out, right? That's how they treat you.
that's true. It's a brutal system.
Yeah, but if you get into these things and figure some things out for your own plausible truth, I would like to say the veil is, and the jabbering in your head is just get less noise, and I can be now in a very well, I don't like it, but I can be in a very uh, uh, in a room with a lot of people chattering, and I just like, and it's gone.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's just like I used to go to concerts and stuff like that, and I always was alone. Uh, and that comes also with some things that we're basically touch based on with some knowledge, also wisdom that we think is the truth. There comes a big isolation because there are not a lot of people, especially what you just said, just like four of your sisters. You can't talk about that stuff. I can talk about that stuff with my family. They're gonna probably lock me up.
Right.
He's been completely gone.
Off the edge.
Yeah. And one of my favorite phrases
And
from
put you.
from the song Guns N' Roses,
Oh
"One in a Million."
yeah.
Some say I'm crazy. I guess I'll always be. So that's good enough.
Hey, Rob, I want to ask you something about your girlfriend's job. What is the building? A new building or is it an old building? What is it? Is it?
Not
Does it?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So the ground where the buildings are on is like since we know like the 1700s or 1800s a mental
Okay.
institution.
Okay.
There
All
are
right.
some buildings that are quite new, but you build something on whatever it's going to be. And there are some old buildings, and yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. It's the
Is there
same.
any? Does any of it look like there's a mud flood there? Like where the windows are below the ground level?
Um, I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
checked that out, but it's very interesting to tell that. Yeah, could be. I don't know because I know that there are the war, especially in Second World War. She
Mm-hmm.
bought a book from that place, so we know a little bit more about the history of it. That they
Okay.
had tunnels that were connected, where they put
They
it.
all do. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that
Why?
it's.
What is so they don't transport in the winter or something? Like I
Uh,
don't. I doubt that. I'm just devil's advocate, Like they all got tunnels, bro.
it's
And
it, it's something that I think that there's a big possibility that there are more people underground than above.
that's funny. Yeah, it makes you
Because,
wonder, like, where'd the orphans come from back in the 1800s?
yeah,
Where did
but
those kids come from? The story is kind of comical, Some of
yeah,
it
but
might be true, but not to that level.
yeah, and aliens, what we talked about before. What if they are just entities or creatures that are in the ground? I mean, what do we know? Okay, so we figured out a little bit about the flora and fauna, a little bit of this Earth. We know a little bit about our oceans. What about Earth itself? There are all like these. When you got this hops of sand, what's it called? This creature that lives on the ground that makes the holes.
Oh, the worms?
No, not the worms. The he's eating the worms. The blind. Is it called a mole?
Oh, okay. Those blind moles.
Yeah, right. They dig into your garden. You have these piles of sand, right?
Yeah, you get the trails from them. They're all over
Yeah,
the
yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah. So this
Yeah.
is a creature that lives on the ground.
Barely has eyes.
Exactly. Just like you point out, worms. Well,
Right.
what do we? So we figured out like 5% of the ocean. We figured out maybe 10 or 15%, whatever it is, because we don't know 100% about the flora and fauna. And then we have another question: what about the soil? What's in there? If you scoop out some soil, just like here in my garden, just like I said, there are universes in it. Just like whoa,
Yeah.
we know nothing, man, and it's it. That's why it's so good to talk to people like you, and to talk basically with other people. With just like, what's your opinion on this, or what's your perspective, or what's your thought, or
What have you seen? What have you heard? What
yeah,
do you think about things? Yeah, no, this is great fun. We didn't learn none of these things in school. And talking to any of the off uh, common subjects, not everybody wanted to talk about them.
Oh yeah.
no,
So connecting to that, I had a question for Rob. Rob, what star sign are you, brother?
I'm an Aquarius.
Aquarius. Nice.
Yeah, I
Water
Nice.
thought
bear.
so too. And it makes sense. Mormon Rishi, he was on a podcast with the Firmamental and also with the Fact Hunter with George Hobbs, Flat Earth Files. I had a podcast with him too, and he's really digging into numerology. And I digged into that like I think it was like 2 years ago that somebody mentioned it, and I figured out my numerology. It blew me off my chair, man. Just like what? How can some things added up and been counting down, and that's your number, tell you exactly who you are? And I've been living on this beautiful planet like 51 years now. 50 years,
Wow.
51 years young. So just like, how, why didn't get that in school? Hey, oh, you're
Uh,
Aquarius, you're the sixth of here. This is your life plan, so you can plan a little bit better now.
yeah. Make
And
better decisions. Rob, you got to look at your moon and rising sign also. There's 3 different signs we're born under. Every sign has a rising
Ascending.
and a
Ascending
moon.
and
yeah, the house off and the ascending.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's
But also the dates are important. Like, the first days of the born and the year and the month is important. Which is supposed to be your date?
6th of February.
Oh, 6th of February. 6/2.
And
All right. 6.
6/2, 1973. And I
Oh,
can figure out what time I
nice.
was born, because that's also the coordinates where you were born and the time.
Exactly.
The time is 5:49. They say
5:49 in the evening. Yeah. All
in the
all
morning.
right.
In the morning.
Yes. Okay. So six is supposed to be related with family. 6 is related with uh the first half of your life would have been a lot with family.
Hmm.
Family, I don't know, parties, you know, maybe maybe travel, like art,
Hmm?
so it that's what is related to six, right? The two is with the moon, right? So everything with twins, with the moon, magnetic. So it's a way of reading. These are codes, the date of birth and every number together is a code, in itself they are codes. It's like supposed to be the cheat code of the matrix, right? If you
Hmm.
understand that, you can. Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
Vikka, remember you've been saying lately, J.P. Morgan says millionaires don't pay attention to astrology, billionaires pay attention to astrology.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, because this is exactly, and he had a clock that he could predict everything, all the
Yeah.
luminaries. That's what he
What
had.
is that?
Why? Because what the stars are doing and the angles, that's why they are called the angles or the angels. It's how there is good angels and bad angels. It's nothing about good angels and bad angels. It's about just the frequency, right, of the angels, right? So
Yep.
what luminaries, every luminaries have its own vibration and significance and character. So you or anyone born in a particular horoscope and where are those luminaries can affect. So, and the effect could be negative or positive because those angles will be negative or positive. So it's nothing that is angels are coming. No, it's just the angles of this luminary is affecting you in that way. So even a solar eclipse is associated with the fall of an empire, fall of a king, fall of a politician, right? So
Hmm.
they all follow that. Everyone follows that, and especially as you say, the rich people, they do everything with astrology and numerology. Why? Because the stars are which are in charge. When it's a bad day, it's a bad day. Nothing is freaking gonna work. We all know that.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
You can
yeah.
you can do your best. Things are not gonna work. That's not the day for you to do that thing, right?
Hmm.
And the best part is every number is connected in that way, right? So,
Wow.
and you could go in detail about each of these numbers and how they work, and it's crazy, it's amazing. And I always say astrology is nothing demonic. This is for us. It was created for us. And if you don't want to understand that language, it's your problem.
Yeah.
But there are people who understand that language of these luminaries and astrology and this numerology, and there's so many other logi related to it, right? But saying the same thing,
Hmm.
saying the same thing.
Crazy stuff.
Even
Love it.
even the Bible says that the stars are there for signs and symbols.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when Vika just mentioned this, that probably it's or could be a book that's been written about all this stuff. So that's why it's falling out. And we think, oh man, they point out like 2,000 years ago. No, no, 2,000 years ago, whatever. They knew already what's been happening and you can relate to it. And we're now in the age of Aquarius.
Right.
And one of my things that I always say is chaos creates harmony, also in my show, because uh, yeah, the age of Aquarius will be chaos, and you see it all around it. A lot of things are totally crazy, but we have to go through that period to have harmony to know what we're really wanting to go to. And that's why I love to do stuff with my people that getting my coaching. They have a lot of chaos in their lives, and I can point it out just like if you do this, that will affect that, and that will affect that, and you have cause and chaos. No, cause and effect. So, and when you do that, you will create from a completely shit pile of chaos harmony. But you have to dig into the system. You have to know why that system is based on that. And a lot of people um, or they are not aware, or they have some trauma within them, why they can't figure out to go to the next step. And we all have that. We all trauma-based creatures,
We
and they
create
do
our own
that.
barriers too, you know,
I, of course, indoctrination,
fears and
belief system.
ways of thinking, and yeah, and right, the indoctrination, the confusion that the indoctrination offers is just staggering. It's crazy.
Mm.
You know, that's where Vika got the name heliopsychosis, because if they can convince us that we live in a place like that, they can convince us of anything, and it creates a disturbance in inner peace that people can't even identify with, you know,
Oh,
and it takes away problems and issues learning about flat Earth that I never even knew I had, kind of, you know. It set a sense of ease in my life that like hasn't can't be touched, you know.
mm.
Mm.
They're making a virtual reality for us now, for all the people that's so fucked up in the system that they can put on the VR glasses in the shitty world, in the wasteland, and they just can pretend to be a very beautiful man or woman walking down the beach because the virtual reality shows them that. But they're living in a shithole. And if you want to choose that, uh, yeah, we're heading to that already. You know, yeah, that scares me the most. You know, how many people are just saying yes, and how high should I jump if somebody says jump?
Right? Off of what?
Yeah, exactly. Who the hell are you to ask me to jump? You know that there are people that have some authority, but they are humans, and there is no way that a human can stand above human. You, of course, you have leaders and you have followers, right? So just like if you have a wolf pack, you have wolves that lead the pack, and you have this dynamical stuff going on within the pack, just like a wolf pack with dogs or cats. Cats don't give a shit, you know. They figure out the stuff themselves, man. If you don't give a food to a cat and she knows how to escape from your room, or probably not escape from your room, she figures out how to live. She doesn't give a, you know. These creatures are so fascinating.
Cats
But
are diesel. They
yeah,
really are.
I
Yeah,
love them, man. I love them,
yeah, they're my favorite too.
and they have some knowledge. That's why I think they put it up the sphinxes in the pyramids, the Zen masters they call them also,
Oh, right.
and
Yeah,
it's
you know,
very
you watch a cat and he just sits there for hours. I'm like, that's so cool. They really come here and they're like half their life is meditation. And it seems just
yeah.
a cat in a house, you know, it's just they're so cool. Very zen, very calming in so many ways.
And
Great
it's
Oh
really
yeah, there are
vibrations.
people who. Oh yeah, there are people who meditate and could meditate for years and months in without eating, without sleeping. There are
That's
people
great. You know, the guys
go
in Tibet
out
who
in the exactly in
isn't
the
it?
Himalayas,
Yeah.
in Tibet. Yeah, yeah. These people, some of them are extreme. Like imagine
They,
in minus 40, 50 in caves without people, without civilization, like in the nature, living off like without anything, just with water or just meditating. Like, wow, it's crazy stuff.
that's totally possible for anybody who could wants to do stuff like that too. It really is. It takes time and effort and
Oh yeah,
drive. It's not easy, but it's absolutely possible to survive with way less food and way less stimulation and to meditate like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've tried a few different things. Cool.
The mind is are the most powerful thing that we have. So
Yeah.
imagine if if you go to work and you're feeling a little bit shitty when you go waking up and you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm not having my day," right? And you will go to work and your colleagues say, "Oh, you don't look that good today. You had a party yesterday." Well, I'm not feeling that well. So it's a self fulfilling prophecy, right? So probably an evening when you go home, you feel right, going right to bed. If you go to a doctor and he says, "Well, I got some bad news for you because things point out that you have some, well, let's say cancer." Well, the moment that you hear that from a guy in a lab coat, your complete system changed. That's why people die within 2 or 3 weeks. Well, they had some achings and some stuff going on, but all of a sudden they could end up that within seconds. But the funny thing is, if this doctor's going to call you up within 2 weeks, like, "Oh man, I'm terrible sorry, I made a big mistake, but you're healthy as a fish," you will live another 10, 20 years. So we can make ourselves sick,
Oh yeah.
but we can make ourselves also heal. But you have to be aware that a lot of stuff that we are dealing with, and not only abstractions about news and stuff like that, or television shows, or all the signs on the road when you drive to a highway. There's so many things that attract us from the reality that we're not can dive into right now. And yeah, it's
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
there's so much
Absolutely, brother.
time flies, man.
Oh
What
yeah.
you
We.
said?
Oh yeah. We.
I don't
We
have
were.
time.
We have. We are. No, this is amazing stuff, brother. So we are almost soon, maybe in some time, wrapping up. But I wanted to ask you few questions. You know what we're gonna do? You have interviewed so many people, and you had so many. You have asked the people those questions. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna reverse those questions on you. Right?
Oh,
How does this sound?
oh man, I can tell you, 2 days back or something like that, I was thinking that when I was walking in nature and putting my hammock to a tree, just like, what if Vika is going to ask me some questions that I normally ask my, I will have a hard time, but
You
I will
see
do my
that?
best, man. I will
Yeah,
do
that
my
was in
best.
the ether, bro. You read it.
That's
That was
connection,
the
brother.
connection.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm screwed.
That was in the ether.
This is
All
going to
right.
be a hard one.
So
Yeah.
you have the question. You have the question at the hand. You have the question at the hand.
Yeah. You want to do the 12 or the 10?
All. You're not gonna escape, right?
Okay, my first question to my guest is normally, what's your perception or definition of God? I think, from my perspective, is that God has always been there, always will be, and always is, and that's something that it's in the ether. That it's the consciousness that gives us everything that we're looking at in nature, especially, of course. I hope that I touch base on that. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
divine thing that makes us tick. Yeah. And the second question will be, what's your definition of the devil? I think the definition of the devil is the
Exactly.
thing that you can choose by yourself to go to a other path, and there could be also influences, factors in your life that could give you not that much love, so you dig into that, but you choose the evil yourself. So yes, there will be devil worship because there's always duality, right? So you have the light, which is God, and you have the darkness or the fire, or whatever they're going to call it, the devil. But it's something that we can choose for ourselves. So the evil in this world has been put out by people that believe in that. So they have that in their system.
Awesome. Awesome, brother.
Hmm. Now we
Go
have
on, E.
the easier questions, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, but you can expand on the answer how much you want, brother. All right.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of
Which is the
course.
first one?
The first one is what's my favorite color? And I will get the questions.
Yes.
I asked them now for 33 times, but I'm ADHD, so sometimes I don't know what I said just like 2 seconds ago. So I'm gonna pull them up anyway. Honesty with yourself, just like I said, that's the most beautiful thing and the best thing you can do
Or-
for yourself. So how can I do that? Okay, let me see. Okay, my favorite color. Uh, it used to be red, but I love red and matte black. So not like the shiny black, but the matte black. So yeah,
Opaque.
yeah, yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Um,
Yes. Red.
favorite music. That's a hard one. I know that I've been writing these things down. Oh, I'm going to ask my guests these questions, and everyone just like, oh shit, that's a hard question, and now I'm stuck in the middle with myself. So that's good. That's good. Well, I'm going to give you a very good answer. It depends on my mood. It depends on my situation. It depends on the people where I'm at. It depends on so many things. Uh, what my favorite kind of music is on that time, right? But what I really loved, what I really was digging into when I was young and still love to listen to is like the early days metal, like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, that kind of stuff. But favorite music, I can cut it down in. I shouldn't do that because there's not one answer. Uh, yeah. Oh no, no! I feel
No,
no.
but
I
you can add. You
feel
can
how
add.
hard. No, I feel how
You
hard it is.
can add couple of them more. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will.
The
So
more the better, though. Music is,
yeah,
like a
it's
personal language that you know,
exactly.
you create yourself inside what these songs mean to you and stuff. So
Yeah,
can come from any type of music, really, right? Those vibrations that you write, it's sold.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I meant with it does get in contact with you with the right mindset, with the right things that, or the day that you've been through. That's some kind of music that you can relate to, right?
Yeah.
But basically, for me, it's like the old rock and roll and the dirty rock and roll, metal. That was, like Iron Maiden stuff like that, and trance. I love trance music. I make trance music myself on my
Yeah.
YouTube channel. There are some things that
Bro.
I try to do, but it's just yeah, the heartbeat we talked about it, Vika. The 138 BPM.
One
That's the
thirty-eight.
yeah
Oh yeah. Oh
138.
yeah.
That's it.
That's the best.
Rob, do you like the Misfits
Oh,
at
brother.
all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just oh they got this song.
They got a song called "We Are 138."
Exactly. I was thinking that when I just said it, I was thinking about the Misfits. You asking that question. Well, that people that listen, this is the divine ether that we're connected with the database that we're on. This is so great, man.
Accessing.
You
And I
know,
love Danzig. I love this guy's voice. I think,
yeah.
yeah, I love it. I like it. I like it.
Do you like Volbeat?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
from the Netherlands, man.
No, they're
There was.
from Denmark. Denmark.
Oh, okay, all right. I know somewhere over there. I'm sorry about that,
No,
but
there's no problem.
they got some pretty good stuff. They're like they remind me of Elvis, Metallica, and Johnny Cash, all wrapped up in one band.
Yeah. A funny story that I was getting one of my tattoos, and there was this band playing, and I said to my to the tattoo guy, I said, "What's this?" He said, "This is Volbeat." I said, "Never heard of it." And it was the early days, right? They had one album out, and
Oh,
I
cool.
liked the old stuff, just like Metallica. I like the old stuff, not the new stuff.
Yeah. It usually tapers off.
Yeah, and he said, "Well, these band is playing in Belgium, which is like a 1 hour drive from where I live." So I say, "Oh, I can check them out." And there was a venue which was very small, but it was totally packed, totally
Cool.
packed.
Yeah,
And they
but
put on a show, and it was really amazing. And it turned out that one of the other guys that has been tattooed by my tattoo master, he was also there. He was befriended with the band. So afterwards, I was standing there with the tattooist, with this guy, and with the singer of the band, and we were drinking Jack Daniels and stuff like that.
that's cool.
And my sister, she really likes into that music now too, and she said every time when I like a band, you have some crazy stories that you've been through with them. Well, not all of them, of course, but
Nice. That's great.
yeah, that was a great time. But yeah, I love them. Yeah,
Cool.
but I can listen also to some symphonic music. It's there's so much things that are so awesome. And
Yeah, I think one of the guitar players is from New York.
oh yeah,
Uh,
true. They
yeah, Cangiano.
yeah, he came from Anthrax, I think.
Yeah. Oh, really? They're
Yeah,
from New York.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, New York Bronx style, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
A
My
lot
wife
of
is from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn.
oh Brooklyn, oh yeah, Brooklyn, oh yeah. New York is New Amsterdam. So
I
Peter
know, man.
Stuyvesant, which is a
So,
Dutch guy, discovered. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Dutch guy discovered or made. That's why you have Yankees. Jan and Kees are two names that were very, very familiar in these days when we
really.
headed to New York, right? New Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And but because translation and stuff like that, that's why you call yourself Yankees.
Wow. That's crazy. I gotta look into that more. Find out a little more about that. I never heard that. The things. There's so much stuff to learn, bro.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna skipping to my what's my favorite film or series. That's a tough one
Right.
too. That's a good one too. I really feel sorry for the next upcoming guest, where I'm gonna just ask the question and feeling like, well, what's your answer to this? Um, and although I thought about it 2 days ago, okay, favorite movie. Um, I really like Tarantino, and yeah, there. No, oh man, what do I put my guests up to? No, there should be a timer, right? Like 10 seconds, and then you're out.
Like a debate.
I really like the jaw of the Jason Bourne, that stuff. I like that until the last one, and the same goes with John Wick. So I really like to dig into these movies, these, Krav Maga, which I also did, CIA or whatever. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I really like that. I hope I questioned.
Nice.
Yeah.
Answered the question. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Answer the question.
Hey, Rob, check it out. The movie Pulp Fiction,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
right? That movie was released by Miramax Films, right? And that was the first movie Miramax released after Disney bought it. So really, Pulp Fiction's a Disney movie.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
know what? One of the first lines John Travolta says to Samuel L. Jackson, right? He said, "You know what he put on a French fries in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Mayonnaise. What?" And we do that. Yes, we do that. But the funny thing comes, they a lot of the script has been progressed in the Dampkring, which is a coffee shop, one of the oldest coffee shops in Amsterdam, where they hang around like Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta to get the script going.
Wow.
So the Netherlands is a very small
Holy.
country with a lot of things going on in the world. Seems to.
That's interesting.
Should I say what my favorite series is? Because yeah, of course I should do that.
Yep.
The A Team. I really love that.
Nice. Yeah.
B.A. Baracus. I love Murdoch because he was a crazy guy with this invisible dog. Billy. Yeah, I tell you, yeah. Say hello. You know, I love that face
Yeah.
and you know, yeah, and everybody was shot down, but nobody got killed. I love that stuff. The A Team is something that that should be transformed to every generation. Okay,
Did they have a
Nice.
movie for that?
yeah, but
No good.
yeah, it's just like the Dukes of Hazzard, you know. Only because Jessica Simpson is wearing some short jeans doesn't mean it's a great movie.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think the
Good.
Dukes of Hazzard is also one of my favorites. But see, I'm skipping two branches now. Although I ask my guests always, point out one. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm disorganized, man. I can do that.
A difficulty level of 10, these questions, bro.
Yeah. They got all sub. Okay. Favorite book. I'm not that kind of a reader, but I don't know if you know the book. What's it called in English? The Celestine Promises. Celestial Promise. No, Celestijnse Belofte. Celestijnse Belofte. Can I figure it out?
And what it's about?
I don't know. I will look it up. A book from James Radfield. Stijnse Belofte en English. The Celestine Prophecy. It's about energies
Sounds,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's about.
It's about energies and stuff like that. About awakening. It's a really, really, really interesting book.
Nice.
Can I think I can. Citizen Prophecy. Oh, it's all in Dutch. No, I can put it in the chat. It's a great book, but it's been a very, very long time that I read it. But the first book I got from my aunt was Erich von Däniken with
The aliens.
yeah, exactly. But I got three languages in my head, like Dutch, German, and English. And sometimes, most things I do is in English, to be honest with you. And when I'm mad or angry, I speak German.
I knew it.
No shit, it's real. And Dutch is something that I'll never get. I had a bad. What's it called? When you're in school, bad grade for Dutch because it's a very strange language. I don't like it anyways, but I speak it. Okay, favorite booze. Oh man,
Difficult one, right? That's the one that have to be also.
yeah, there are a lot, but I have to say, I have now my Berkey water filter, which is gonna separate all the metals, the medicines, and all that the shit that doesn't belong into water. And since I drink that water, my hair is growing like really fast. My nails are growing really fast. I have to clip them every single week. So yeah, my favorite boost will be good water.
Nice.
And beer is also based on
That's
water.
awesome.
Okay, I will try to get it into the three
Nice.
hours. Oh shit. Um, my favorite food. Yeah, there will be Italian. I love pasta and stuff like that. Although I don't eat it that much, and when I eat it, it's from oh shit. No, I have another translation that I don't know. It's a grain, but it's not like the normal grains. It's a healthier grain. It's called spelt. Oh, let me.
Oh yeah, spelta here in Spain. Yeah.
Spelta. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
In,
So that's a little bit healthier for your gut and stuff like that because pasta and bread, I do eat it sometimes, but I try to avoid it as much as possible. But don't want to ruin the party, of course. And you can
awesome.
always choose what you eat. That's one of the main reasons why we have a choice. You can grab a beer, but you have a choice to drink it or not.
Exactly.
Favorite clothing I like to wear the most. It was like cargo pants and a t-shirt, but nowadays, oh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love to wear skirts, but not in the sissy way or stuff like that, but more in the kilt kind of way. Um, because they are very comfortable.
Celtic.
First of all,
Celtic.
they look very badass, and they're very healthy for your carrot business down there. Very warm. Eventually, you're now here in the winter, which wasn't a very hard winter or harsh winter. But there are some things coming up that I'm doing also with my business uh, that are going to be worldwide phenomena, I would say. So yeah, I like to wear skirts, but real man stuff, not like sissy stuff or stuff like that. Very fashion at that.
Nice.
Um, favorite holiday destination? Well, for now, it's still Berchtesgaden, which lies on the border of Germany and Austria. I've been loving to go into that place because there are a lot of history been going there because the man with the mustache lived upside in the mountains. I was never there, but the place, the mountains, the water, the nature, it's something that's coming home for me. It's really nice region.
Oh yeah, those zones are amazing. The lakes and the mountains and the trees. Yep.
I think it's one
Go
of the
ahead, brother. The
expensive.
next.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Favorite quote. I have two of them. Shite. I'm gonna tell you them both anyways. My guest can also tell three or four things, right? So my favorite quote is "Change life
Yeah,
before it
yeah.
changes you." That's my favorite quote because you always have a chance to
Nice.
change your life every single day, every single minute of the day. The other one I was telling you before, some say I'm crazy. Well, I guess I'll always be, you know. But change life before it changes you is really one of my favorite quotes. And my favorite motto will be chaos creates harmony. even if you see a lot of shit going on in your life, or whatever, there's always a way to find balance and harmony out of it. And that's a life's motto. And you can create with that. You can create love, balance, zen, focus, everything.
Awesome, brother. Absolutely awesome. Amazing. Amazing to have you, brother. And all the, yeah, we could have gone for 3 hours more, right? For sure. There's so much we could have dig in, but yeah, it was so much great to have you and discuss because we were looking forward for this, me and Gene, right, brother?
Oh yeah, man, definitely. Yep.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure on my
Oh
side.
yeah,
And
brother.
Oh,
time.
bro,
Oh
it
yeah,
was
that's
great
what
to
we
meet
are
you, bro.
for.
Sorry, Gene.
It was great to meet you.
Yeah, yeah. Same way for me. And it's always good to connect to people that you feel the energy right away. Well, I'm a pumped up guy. Not always. Sometimes I smash things, and but
Still
no,
pop.
I think the things that connects us all, fellow humans, is that we're energy, and if you dig into the energy of the other, which could be also on a not in a negative way, but if somebody has been down, just support him, give him love, and then you create a new balance again from the chaos that he has into a new harmony, and that's what I felt here. Very blessed to be here on your show.
Oh,
Same here, bro.
and it's great to know
Definitely.
that we are connected to the ether.
Oh yeah,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but we'll have our last thoughts, and we will wrap it up for this time.
Bro, it
Gene,
was
you
great to
wanna?
meet you, bro. Like I said, man, I was looking forward to it, and it was a really nice surprise. What a great conversation. And I feel really lucky to be here with you guys having these conversations. So, yeah, we could have been taking any part of it, the aliens, the vibrations, the music, any part of it, and went on for a couple hours on each
And been
subject.
here for
So,
6 hours.
Oh yeah,
it,
oh
it,
yeah.
yeah,
Probably we need to build a
That's true.
community to dig into each other every single day, right? And it's going to be lasting for
right?
years.
Current events,
The stuff yeah, the stuff that you can talk about and that you can get your head around, and
Yeah, and the
yeah,
stuff we're trying to get our head around. And yeah, there's so much because we got bombarded since little kids, even before school, with the cartoons and all that conditioning. Planets in space, and you could be president, you could be an astronaut. No, you can't. We end up with everybody. We're all Santa Claus. So they
true.
don't tell us that. But here's something I thought you might like, Rob. I like to say lately that the way the narrative has us thinking we're going to be the Jetsons any day now. We're turning into the Jetsons while they turn us into the Flintstones, bro. Everything's
Oh,
backwards, man. But we
oh
don't
yeah.
know it. But we're trying to communicate these things, bro. So it was a great pleasure to be here with you, bro. You had a very interesting story, man. Looking forward to talking more to you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Just catch me up every time. I'm just doing the things that I think that are fruitful and that coming from my heart. And when you do that, something happens, man. And I've been, just to be honest, I had a lot of struggles in my life, but since I've been doing this stuff, people connect to me, and I connect to people, and magic is happening because this is really the things I like to do: talk about stuff, and figure things out. And yeah, just like you said, with the Jetsons turning into the Flintstones, I think there are a lot of people that are more and more aware of where we live and what we are capable of, that they are going to take back the things that they are in, called the system or the matrix or whatever. But they say, you know what, if I have a fire stove at my own house and stuff like that, it could be in building of wood, and I can do my own thing, just buzz off. I can have a great life, and luckily, a
That
lot
is
of people.
anarchy, bro. Right? That's anarchy.
Yeah, because you don't fit in the system. You don't pay
Yeah, it's
money.
just I'm on my farm. Leave me alone. Don't tax my vegetables. You know, you grow
Exactly.
tomatoes. I grow wheat. I'll see you Tuesday. We'll meet in the middle
No,
and.
you see me now. When you grow wheat, you're gonna. But that's it. That's it. The people that are waking up are connecting to nature and know that everything you need is already there.
And we need way less than we've been taught, bro, of these physical
Oh
things
yeah.
like the food and all the stimulation. We don't need it as much, man.
Mm.
The small communities of happy people would be really great, you
Yeah,
know.
I think
And it's
that's why
Oh yeah.
we do this. The thing is, a lot of people say, "Yeah, but it's not done" or stuff like that. You know what? You can change the world by taking your first step. You don't have to wait to others to build a community. When you want to build a community, you need to do that step. You need to get around with people that same minded. You need to purchase a piece of land. You need to dig into permaculture. You need to dig into spirituality. Who am I? What the hell am I doing here? What kind of stuff do I going to put out? What can I learn people? What can I give people? You know, and that's some really strong stuff. That's good. That's good.
Oh yeah. That's what in the end it's all. That's what we're gonna take. Those amazing positive energies that we share with all each other. That is the real, real currency that is gonna be valid. You know, in the next stage. So yeah, brother Rob, where tell where people can find you. Anything you want to say about your coming shows or and your last words, brother, was
Okay. Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, thank you for getting me on. I really enjoyed this episode and talking to you guys. You know, another new friends coming on, just like Gene. You know, never talked to this guy. I love this. So you can find me on probably every podcast, a podcast, or what's it called? Just lost my.
Spotify and
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, Disorganized Productions. On YouTube, you
exactly.
can find me on Disorganized Productions. On every episode I put out, there's a link tree. It's a link dot ee/slash disorganized production where all my links are from my creative work that I do with photography, with my coaching business and stuff like that. And there's a shop attached where you can get some merchandise. And yeah, you can basically, if you want to contact me, which I really love, put on a message to disorganizedproductions@gmail.com, and then you will get in contact with me. And yeah, I really love to be here, man. I can, just like I said, I can talk about this for hours. I have to get up very early today, not morning, but today. But I want to
Now,
point out
yeah.
to everyone, time is fake. This is here. This is now. This is having a great time with new people and talk about stuff. That's what matters. If I wake up tomorrow and I'm feeling a little bit tired, well, so what? I mean, now counts. Not what was, not what's gonna be. Now.
It's gonna be. Thank you so much, my brother, for being here and spending time with us. And keep doing what you do. Keep digging in the truth. You know, get the awesome people. And yeah, brother. And for sure, definitely, we're gonna be doing more similar to this. You know, our deep conversation and chats, right, with no limits. Awesome, brother. And thanks. Yeah, there you have it, people. Uh, Rob from Disorganized Production. Go and sub to his channel. Go and check out the podcasts he have. They are deep. They are amazing. Support him, show him some love too. He's also a truth seeker, a warrior, one of our team of warriors, right? So,
Oh
and yep,
yeah.
uh, thanks, thanks, Gene, thanks, Rob, and thanks everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys check us out on the next episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv, signing out, guys. See you soon next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thank you, fellow humans. See you next time.